a Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
And welcome into the Friday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
I'm super. How are you?
I am super as well. Michelle, good morning. How are we doing?
Thank God it's Friday. Yay, I'm doing great.
Michelle's doing very well. Lots of energy this morning.
I'm just happy it's Friday.
Oh, okay. There is that. We got a lot to get to on the program today. Jared Stillman joining the show at 7 o'clock. We'll be joined by C. Thomas Howell coming up at 7:30, or otherwise known, Joe, as Tommy Howell in the musical career to this point. But that coming up at 7:30 on the program, and Teron Davenport at 8 o'clock. But some famous people joining us today on the program. What an honor for them, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, it's cool that he's Tommy Howell now. I mean, I get that, but yes, to me, always C. Thomas.
Yes. Are you going to refer to him as C. Thomas coming up at 7:30?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I may have to ask him about that. There's probably something on the internet about why he changed it, which I'll try to look up.
Excuse me, C?
Yeah, CT. I mean, you're talking about, here's the thing. When this was presented as a possibility, I wasn't sure on the timing. And if Caroline could be, I wasn't sure maybe he was going to come in.
Yeah.
My Caroline Rexrode, she was like, I must come in that day, please, because she's completely in love with him. Now, of course, again, in love with the, C. Thomas Howell from the 80s in the movie The Outsiders, because she's reading The Outsiders in school this year. And is anybody, anyone of that age? Oh, see Thomas Howell, man, good looking dude, or sorry, Tommy Howell.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he goes by both. See Thomas or Tommy. That's coming up at 7:30.
We'll find out.
The program. Joe, the Celtics stay alive last night, 95-86. They win against the 76ers. So that one's going to Game 7. And I thought that Phoenix would force a Game 7 last night as well, but they did not. They got crushed by the Denver Nuggets. 125-100 the final score, and the Denver Nuggets moving on to the Western Conference Final in the NBA.
Booed at home, man. Booed at home in the first half of that game. I could not believe what I was seeing. That was disgusting. Another year with no ring for Chris Paul. Sorry, buddy.
Really hurts my heart.
Yeah, I know it does. And I do feel for my buddy Matt Ishbia. And, still doing a good job as the owner. Anytime he'd like to, drop a few mil somewhere, wherever he wants,
few bill.
He's welcome to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many bill he has. I got to look that up. Like, how many bill is he worth?
I don't know. More than me and you.
I'll look that up along with the C. Thomas to Tommy Howell switch on the internet during the show.
Thank you very much. Carolina wins last night in overtime against New Jersey to end that series and advance to the Eastern Conference Final as well. So thanks for playing New Jersey, but that one didn't last very long. Carolina moving on to the Eastern Conference Final. And Dallas last night, they win 5-2 at home. Joe Pavelski continues to score goals, as does Rope Hintz, and the Stars up 3-2 on the Seattle Kraken in that series as well. So we'll have Game 5 tonight between Florida and Toronto. Game 5 tonight in a tied series between Edmonton and Vegas as well in the NHL. And then on the NBA side of things, Game 6 between the Heat and the Knicks down in Miami, and Game 6 coming up tonight between the Warriors and the Lakers in L.A. I know Joe Rexrode looking forward to that one.
Yeah, can stay up with no worries. Stay up and, yeah, it'll be I think it's going to be a great game. They're really there's been I guess two close games, and 3 blowouts. The Warriors, if they got to win a close game. They're going to have to do it tonight.
They are. We'll see if they can keep it going tonight as they take on L.A. on the road. Joe, we have a schedule for the Tennessee Titans. What a glorious day it was yesterday, NFL schedule release day. I will say this, the Tennessee Titans and the social media team did a phenomenal job of kind of revealing the schedule yesterday, and there's this nice video that they came out with of going around like Broadway and asking people to like identify logos of other teams, and it was beautiful.
Incredible.
The way the Titans did it yesterday. If you haven't seen the video, I encourage you to check it out.
That was actually hilarious. Well done. Well done.
The best was the Colts horseshoe, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, the
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Hey, Cowboys right there. There we go. I think the Atlanta Falcons were referred to by somebody in that video as the Red Stallions, and now the Falcons on Twitter have changed their name to the Red Stallions. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, God, that's awesome. Yeah, that's very good thinking. So I don't know if that's Nate Bain who gets credit for that, or whoever does. That's very good. That's very good use of resources. Broadway is there for us,
Yes.
I mean, I avoid it like it's, like a rat infested, ship sinking in the ocean, but you know what? There are uses for it.
There are uses for it, and the Titans highlighted potentially the best use for it we've seen to this point with their video that they came out with. Highlights from the schedule, Joe Rexrode. 2 primetime games for the Tennessee Titans. Number 1 coming in Pittsburgh in November the 2nd. They will be out in Pittsburgh for a Thursday night matchup, and then a Monday night football matchup on the road down in Miami, taking on the Dolphins in the Ryan Tannehill revenge game, assuming he's still the starting quarterback by the time Week 14 rolls around at that point. So 2 primetime games for the Titans. I got to say, I thought they'd get one for sure with the Thursday night game. I did not anticipate a Monday night football game, but they got one on the road down there in Miami.
Well, the thing is, the rules have changed. I haven't seen this, if anybody got completely hosed, but there's no longer the 1 per team mandate. So It is actually possible that someone didn't get any primetime games. I mean, I haven't heard of that, but I kind of thought they were going to get 1 too. So yeah, it's not bad, and it's 2. It's attractive games. Plus, I guess you have that. Plus, you have London, right?
Yep.
So really, you have 3 guaranteed showcase games where everybody has to watch you play football. So honestly, that's a little better than I anticipated. Yeah, we'll see if, like you said, the Monday night game at Miami, is that going to be, an extra day the week before of Tannehill doing 1-arm push-ups and pulling, a sled in the barn? Or, yeah, I will say, you look at their schedule, man, like there are a lot of really winnable games on it.
There are.
We always think that, and then a couple of the teams on here are going to be a lot better than we think, but then, maybe a couple aren't as good. But look, there is a difference. There is absolutely a difference between having a first place and a second place schedule. It's to me very front loaded with their tougher games, which is interesting. I don't know if that's good or bad for them. But if they can be okay as of London, they got a chance to make some hay on this thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, they open up in New Orleans, so the season opener will be on September the 10th down there in New Orleans, taking on Derek Carr and the Saints. So, obviously an intriguing matchup there to start things off. And then really from that point on, Joe, until the bye week, a lot of AFC games against some good teams. The Chargers, the Browns, the Bengals, again here at home here in Nashville, the Colts and the Ravens, and then they've got that bye week after the London game. From week 2 to week 6, you've got good AFC teams, and in one case, an Indianapolis team that we don't know exactly what they're going to be and who's going to be starting at quarterback, but a divisional game there that you're going to on the road early in the year. After they get back from London, it's going to be really interesting to see what spot they're in because, like you said, from the London game, you've got an Atlanta team that who knows how good they're going to be, Pittsburgh with a second-year quarterback, Tampa's in rebuild mode. You got them after that, and then it's Jacksonville, Carolina, who just picked number 1 overall, Colts again, who knows what they'll be, and then the Texans twice in a 3-week span from week 15 to week 17 toward the end of the year down there. So, as you pointed out, if you can kind of navigate, and I'd say this as we sit here on May the 12th and things won't go this way, but as you can navigate, weeks 2 through 6, if you can get through that and have your head above water, you got a chance there to make some noise if you're the Titans down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just obviously it works out. Now, I don't remember where I saw this ranking, but I thought I saw that the Titans' schedule strength is like 29th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, of course, it's still ahead of the Texans and I think the Texans and the Colts.
And the Colts,
is that right? Yeah.
Well, like I think the least. How would you even phrase this? The team with the easiest schedule on paper is like the Falcons in the NFC South. So there you go.
But that's the thing. This happens to be. It's a second place schedule, but it also is the divisions that they're paired with this year. Are weak. I mean, and that's the thing too. Is like when you look at road games. Like, look, I mean, Cleveland is good, and I think the Steelers are going to be solid. But like, road games against the Bucks and Saints, those are your NFC road games. Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot tougher than that. In recent years, they're going out to the Rams, they're going out to Lambeau, So there's a lot of possibility, which is like it's funny because we've been talking about the. If they're this or that at this certain point, if it looks bad, like at some point, do you think about Levis in for Tannehill? I mean, I've kind of looked at it like, okay, 3-3, that's what you want to be. But honestly, even if they were like 2-4 after 6, unless the Jags are like start out like 6-0 or something, I wouldn't necessarily consider them out of it.
Yeah, I mean they've a couple of really interesting games. Right off the bat to me are L.A. at home. We saw them play the Chargers last year and went toe-to-toe with them. Tannehill got hurt in that game, all that stuff. And then Deshaun Watson and the Browns, who, we heard Charles Robinson talk about this yesterday. On paper, like they should be pretty good. Like they've got a loaded roster. But me having no idea what Deshaun Watson is anymore, getting them early in the season on the road is going to be really interesting for the Titans. I have no idea what the Browns are going to be.
Yeah, they do have a lot of talent. There is no doubt.
There is no doubt about that. 615-737-1025. The schedule is out. What do you make of the Tennessee Titans schedule? And Joe Rexrode has already broken it down on The Athletic and has given a prediction as well. We'll get into all that as well. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063, The Game.
The postseason is here. Whether it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA, we have you covered on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives. But those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming welcomes you as you enter Yellowstone Park's east entrance. 5 museums in one and the greatest firearms museum anywhere. Welcome to the West. Buffalo Bills Center of the West, Cody, Wyoming.
Want to weigh in on the conversation?
It's a brain booster.
Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Good morning.
You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. The Titans schedule is out. We're taking your thoughts on that. By the way, some texters pointing out that apparently no primetime games for the Texans or Indianapolis, and one texter said Houston, Indy, Arizona, and Atlanta, all with no primetime games, Joe Rexrode. So the Titans getting that respect with 2 of them on Thursday Night Football and the Monday Night Football game in Miami as well.
I am blown away. Yeah, Vingan texted me, Adam Vingan, up listening right from the crack of dawn, and I asked him, like, what's going on? And he said, blame Arlo. So hashtag blame Arlo. I think we should get that trending today.
Let's do it.
Jim Irsay will be like, hashtag blame Arlo for no primetime games.
Yes.
But yeah, he texted me the Sporting News story. Texans, yeah, I get that. Falcons, yeah, I get that. Cardinals, okay. I still feel like Kyler Murray is kind of fun player to watch. But Colts, does that blow you away?
Yeah, it kind of does.
That blows me away.
Well, especially when we get down to August 14th and everybody's picking the Colts to win the division. They'd be like, man. Especially, it kind of felt like they were on primetime games 9 times last year. So I'm pleased with this development, but yes, it does surprise me.
Yeah, I had to take in my little prediction, little story about the schedule, I had to take a little shot at exactly what you said about I'm sure some people will find a way to still pick the Colts, even though it'll be the Jags, and maybe some people pick the Colts.
Man, I'm not
Why
kidding.
Why not? Pick the Colts.
Anthony Richardson's been around there for a couple of weeks now. And from Jonathan Taylor to some of these Colts writers again with some of the things they're saying about Anthony Richardson, I'm like, guys, are we doing this again? I know it's different with a rookie this time, but are we going down this road again? Is that what we're about to do?
Well, that's the thing. It's yeah, especially the Matt Ryan stuff last year. Maybe the greatest leader this city has seen since George Washington rode through on his horse. I mean, obviously it was a little much. I will say at least there's justification to be excited about Anthony Richardson,
yes.
Right? I mean, I get that.
I do too.
But yeah,
I can already see it coming in August. Man, let me tell you, the Colts are going to surprise some people this year. Here we go. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to it coming up as the season draws closer. Joe, you've broken down the schedule already, so just immediate professionalism from Rexrode last night. The schedule comes out. There's an immediate breakdown of it from Joe on theathletic.com. Make sure you check that out. And a prediction associated with it. As we know, we love prediction season here on this program, Joe. But making a prediction on May the 11th last night, kudos to you. Way to go.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you. I mean, I right now, my mid-May first blush as I see it all play out, because it is I don't want to go overboard. I don't want to be especially excited about this, Junie.
Yes.
But I do agree with him and others who say, look, it's not just the teams you play. It is the sequencing and how it plays together, and that can make a big difference. look, if I were the Titans, I would choose two things. I would choose to break up the tough part of the schedule, certainly. Because I still consider at Indy one of those. It's still a tough place to play. By then, they'll still be like the city will still be engaged with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still a rivalry game. I would choose that, and I would also choose my off week to be a little later in the season. They did go. You have the option after London to have it the next week. They did. That's fine. That leaves you a lot of time, with no break after that. But I went 9-8. I've got the Titans going 9-8. So.
My question is, like, would Titans fans sign up for that right now? Like, no questions asked, 9-8. I don't know. Like, 9-8, it could get you in the playoffs. It may not get you in the playoffs in the AFC. But, like, if you're a Titans fan, knowing what we know, or at least what we think we know at this point about this roster, would you sign up for 9-8 right now if you were a Titans fan? I think that's an interesting question.
I would say most people would probably say no. A lot of them because it's like, no, that's just not good enough. Let's do better. Some saying, no, let's go 4-13 one time and see what it gets us. Like, I don't want to do 9-8. Especially it's like, would you take 9-8? And the big question there to me is, okay, does that get you in or not?
Yeah.
I don't think it wins you the division.
I don't think so either.
But would 9-8 squeak you in as the 7th? It was basically what your hope would be at 9-8. I mean, I guess if the answer to that is yes, then to me it'd be crazy to say no to that.
Yeah.
I mean, that means you travel to the 2 seed first weekend, so you travel to Cincy or wherever, right? I mean, why wouldn't you want to take that shot? But yeah, I think some people, well, certainly people would want better, but what you don't want is like 8 and 9, 7 and 10. So you're in the middle. You don't get a very good pick, and you also don't get the playoffs.
Right. I mean, that would be worst case scenario at that point. Joe, honestly, my first reaction when I saw the schedule and the way it was laid out last night, and I don't think this will happen, but I also would not be shocked if it did. My first thought was, all right, first 4 games, on the road at New Orleans, home against Justin Herbert and the Chargers, on the road at Cleveland, and home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I could see 0-4. Like, I could absolutely see 0-4 taking place. Again, I don't think it'll happen that way, but 0-4 could be a distinct possibility just based on the location of some of those games and the quality of opponent that you're playing.
Yeah, no, it could happen. I think the opener is key. I mean, I don't think the Saints are very good.
I don't either.
Now, obviously, Derek Carr, makes it better. A big thing with them is like, what is Kamara? Like, and maybe it's not great to play them right away.
But playing down there, week 1, Derek Carr taking over, all that stuff.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that place can still rock. So, yeah, like that's a key. That one right there is a key one, to grab. But no, you're not. I don't think you're way off base with that they could be 0-4, but you know what? They could be 4-0, Robbie. How about that, huh?
Remember the stretch a couple years ago in 2021 where it was, I don't even remember who they played at this point, but it was like, the Rams and all that stuff and the Packers and whatever it was. Anyway, they went 4-0 through that stretch, and it's like, oh, that was supposed to be the toughest stretch of the whole year. And you just absolutely mowed them down if you're the Titans without Derrick Henry.
Well, no, speaking of the Athletic, I mean, I had it was like 1-3 they might take right now,
Yeah.
Because they won a real ugly game at Jacksonville. They were pretty bad, and because that was the Urban year, and then it's like Colts. Well, yeah, so Colts, Rams, Bills, and maybe you're right. Was it Packers? It was an absurd stretch of games, and they win them all. Hilarious.
Chiefs, maybe.
I think the Chiefs were in there.
Yes, that's right. They beat them 27-3. Yeah, jeez.
So
wasn't that long ago, folks? Wasn't that long ago?
Not that long ago. People responding to my 9-8. Would you sign up for that right now if you're a Titans fan? Tim on the text line says no. I'd rather go 3-14 and get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Go.
Craig on the text line says 9-8 is the worst possible outcome. Either be good and be a playoff team, or be pitiful and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. This is from Craig on the text line. Not a whole lot of people sign up for 9-8 out of the jump.
I get it. Now, Caleb from Hendersonville says it's completely fine if we get in the playoffs. So that's it. He also says, I feel if we lose we lose games, we lose everyone. We'll blame Tannehill as a scapegoat because the plan is to release him anyway. Well, look, if you're 0-4, for example, comes through. I mean, even if it's 1-3, I mean the Levis screams will be loud. It's just how it is. Backup quarterback is the most popular person in an NFL town, as the saying goes. But if it's a highly drafted rookie, it triples the popularity.
Matt from DC says 10-7. They'll go 4-2 in the division, start season 3-3, and get on a roll. The defense will keep this team in games. Matt from DC on the text line. I mean, look, I will say that the schedule, in terms of the way that it's laid out, I think the back part of it could be beneficial for the Titans. Now, I don't know what this thing is. Like last year, the big problem I had with the schedule was you're seeing the Colts twice before Halloween, and then it's over with at that point. This year you don't see the Texans until week 15, and then you see them right again in week 17. It's the NFL. I don't know how we keep running into these problems. It was like, hey, you're not going to see Houston until week 15, and then you can turn around and play them 2 weeks later right again. Like, what are we doing?
I have no idea. Yeah, they finally broke up. Like the Colts thing has been like the same basic weekends, and that had happened early, and that was very unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the only answer is like, well, there are two games that no one in the world wants to see, so who cares where we put them?
Yeah, I guess so. Davis
That's
Mills
all I got.
Holding the clipboard as the backup quarterback in that game. I'll be watching that. Looking forward to that. I'll be the only person in America watching Davis Mills that day.
He'll be looking at his clipboard, and he'll be looking over at the other sidelines clipboard possibly too.
Have to make sure if you're the Titans coaches, you're putting your hand over your mouth. You can see over the top of all that and read the play calls as that's going on. 615-737.
Feed him some lettuce.
That's right. 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode and kind of alluded to this yesterday, but he's come out with a piece about Will Levis and some reporting he's done on that front. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The offseason is in full swing, but there's no slowing down ESPN's Teron Davenport.
The flow of information.
He talks the talk.
Spears gives you that guy that can still hit the home run.
And walks the walk.
As a run blocker, he's going to murder a linebacker at the second level.
On everything Titans, TD is on Mondays at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast. TD is on 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and The Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Music City will be rocking June 23rd through the 25th with a different sound, the sound of NASCAR.
Start your engine!
The Ally 400 is back at Nashville Superspeedway, and this year, it's a night race. NASCAR in Nashville. It's guitars and fast cars under the lights. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets for the triple header weekend, including the Ally 400, Tennessee Lottery 250, and the Rackley Roofing 200 today.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client?
maybe an outdated news article, or sensitive personal information about your family. Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff, so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Bon appetit. Take some Titans.
Derrick Henry.
Some Preds.
Roman Yossi.
Even some hoops.
Light fires.
Wow. Put it in a blender. And what do you have? Jason Michelle.
Pretty incredible.
Call or text and weigh in.
The fastest 2 hours in sports radio. Weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby and Rexrode presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Call TJ's team today to see why they are referred to so often. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, you alluded to this yesterday, but you've been doing some work and some reporting on Will Levis as this week has kind of been going on here, and that story is now out at theathletic.com. I'm about halfway through it now, reading it on theathletic.com through the break. My reading time was really awesome during that break. I just want to point that out to you. But what are some of the things that you discovered, without giving your entire story away, that people can check out at The Athletic? I just tweeted it out at rstanleyNHL on Twitter. What have you learned this week about Will Levis as we prepare for a whole lot more Will Levis talk heading into training camp?
Well, look, the important thing is that you listen to some Tommy Howell music before the show.
Yes, for sure.
And which I also need. Yes, I need to do that too. Also, are we allowed? Like, this is 2 straight segments. We're pimping 2 different stories of mine. That seems a little bit overboard, man.
I mean, it kind of feels like we're back to normal, like falling back in line of where we once were.
I mean, I might be a little bit, little bit overboard with self-absorption, but no.
Did you know Joe writes for The Athletic?
There we go. No, I enjoyed doing it, and I had a pretty lengthy conversation with Will and his parents and a lot of different people, who kind of who know him well. I kind of alluded to it yesterday, but man, I'm sure you can find, just with anyone, you can find someone who dislikes someone, okay? I mean, maybe not Jared, but for the most part, you can find someone who dislikes someone, so I'm sure you can, but with Will Levis. But it is amazing the pretty big divide between sort of the conventional wisdom on him, social media, sort of what people, and again, I think UT fans a lot, but not just UT fans. I think there's there's one word that was used in this process that I know really, really bothered the Levises, and that word was entitlement.
Yeah.
And in fact, Charles Robinson, that word came right out yesterday. And here's the thing. Now, when you think about that, Will Levis, his family is successful, so he comes from like a successful family. So I guess you can think of, went to a private school from New England, and his mom was a All-American soccer player at Yale, Ivy Leaguers, So I mean, from that perspective, I guess I get that. But in terms of his path, I mean, this guy, he was not a big recruit. He was a 3-star recruit, and he was passed over at Penn State. And I mean, the stuff he's done academically is pretty amazing, like you don't just do people think about college football players like, well, they have the academic advisors and But first of all, I think that's misguided. They put in so many hours. Like, you got to respect that. But, yeah, they do have more support and things like that. And this guy, 3 years, he had a 21 and an 18 credit semester to get out of Penn State with a 3.97 in finance. Okay.
Yep.
And he did it so that because he could see, I'm not gonna beat out Sean Clifford, which is wild, by the way. And I'm not going to beat him out, and he got the extra COVID year, so he's just going to be here. I mean, Sean Clifford just entered the draft same time as Will Levis did, so he did that, and then we know the story at Kentucky. Basically, it's I think what I thought of him going in, pretty consistent with what he is, but man, people like this guy a lot. People who know this guy like this guy a lot. Does that translate to an NFL locker room automatically and easily? I don't know. It's going to take him some time. I mean, like this year, he's just a rookie. This is Tannehill's team. But I do think that the intangibles you look for in a quarterback in particular are there. And I think that Will Levis, if he's good, and that's a big if, and I have no idea, I think actually he could be persona-wise. I do not take this wrong, because I've done this before with Belichick, and I didn't say what people say I said. But I'm saying the way he approaches things and the way, I think he could endear himself to fans here. I mean, his hero is Tom Brady.
No.
And I'm not saying he's the same level player. I have no idea. He may never be a starting quality quarterback. But I think the demeanor actually is kind of similar. And I think that Vrabel is going to love him again if he's good, because I think he's going to be a very outspoken. He's going to be the most outspoken, out there leader, that they've had at the quarterback position in a long time.
I don't care what you actually said. I'm telling Jared Stillman at 7:00 that you compared Will Levis to Tom Brady. It's what we're
doing. I hope he's listening.
I'm sure he is. Sure he is. Grinding. He's grinding film, and then he will twist the words.
It was very interesting to as I'm kind of reading along with this here, and again, without giving everything away, but a very positive influence in Will Levis's life, and kind of like a no-nonsense approach, and trying to think about what that is as it relates to the Titans and Mike Vrabel and how he's viewed as kind of a no-nonsense guy. It's just kind of an interesting fit there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Skoronski thing before, but it is pretty wild, that Bob Skoronski was so close with his grandfather. His grandfather, Chicago was a recruiting territory for him, recruiting players to Yale. Tons of players over the years who played for Yale were from Chicago. And he would always stay with the Skoronskis when he went there on his recruiting visits. His retirement party put on by Bob Skoronski, you know. And so the fact that it comes full circle, and they look at it that way with Vrabel too. It's like, you can't pick a better coach. That's what Will Levis responds to, is that kind of coach. So none of this did not address the football questions, but the football questions about Will Levis have been, we're just gonna see, he threw the picks. He didn't have the same supporting cast, but some people say, well, you got to elevate him and all that stuff. But I think a big conclusion for me from this, and I thought so, I did, going in. But hey, if someone even our Penn State writer, Audrey Snyder, I didn't quote her in this, but I talked to her about this. She's like, he's just fantastic, and he gave her, I referenced this, he gave her an exit interview when he left, and he didn't rip James Franklin and those staff, even though they seriously used him as a running back at Penn State. It's did you guys ever have him throw the ball in practice? Because he can throw it. They're pretty good, I think. But hey, Sean Clifford's cool too. I don't want to rip Green Bay Packer Sean Clifford.
Yeah, come on, man. That could be backup quarterback this year. Could be the starter one day. Who knows, Joe? Brett Favre,
Brock Purdy,
Aaron Rodgers, Sean Clifford.
Brock Purdy. No one had him starting for the Niners and being indispensable for the Niners. But yeah, Levis. Yeah, and Hasselbeck, actually, I shout out to Nick Suss. I was really pissed off when I read his story because Hasselbeck gave him the same anecdote. So a lot of times, like, you would avoid that. But I had to use it because it's such a good anecdote about Hasselbeck at the combine. So I'll tell this anecdote because, you know, Nick's written about it now. I threw it in here too. So, you know, the quarterbacks don't do bench. So they changed up things this year at the combine. So it used to be like the bench is in front of like the fans and everything. So like this year, it's like basically they kind of put it at different times. And for receivers, it was 6:30 a.m. So Hasselbeck did a mentoring program, and like they split up the players. He had a bunch of quarterbacks and receivers. So 6:30 a.m., Lucas Oil Stadium, not a soul in there, and the quarterbacks aren't lifting, and the receivers have to do the bench. And so he's like, Levis basically just started like just screaming and hitting tables and like getting everybody to go nuts just to give the guys some energy as they're doing the bench. Yep. Which may not sound like a big thing, but like to Hasselbeck, it's like, see, that means something, man. Like everybody's tired at 6:30, you know, it means nothing to you. But he wanted to like help these dudes. And yeah, look, it's the consistent themes with this guy in reality. But he also did eat the banana with the peel on. I know. Yeah.
Well, see, this is the thing that's been so interesting about the conversation around him because, you know, we've talked about this, but my concerns with him have always purely been football. Like, what is it going to look like? Can he fix the turnovers? All those things. It has been very interesting, and this is not just with Titans fans / Vols fans, but really kind of like a nationwide to watch. Like
Charles yesterday.
Yeah, like some of the discourse around him just in terms of the way that he's viewed is really interesting. And I guess something I didn't really expect heading into the draft process. Like, obviously, we talked a lot about Will Levis, but ever since the Titans have drafted him, like the reaction and the discourse really nationwide has been really interesting on the Will Levis front. And this story that you put up does a good job of kind of taking people behind the curtain there.
And I honestly do think some of it, like, we've talked about punchable face. I mean, he like opposing fans are going to hate him. Oh, yeah. If he's a good quarterback for the Titans, people are going to hate him, right? So there's that. There's like, yeah, I mean, look, he's not C. Thomas Howell 1983 level. He's a good-looking guy, right? Yeah. I think people dislike that. I mean, you got Rich Gannon, like, what are you doing bringing these hot women? Oh, my mom and sisters? Yeah. Like it's just amazing.
My mom, sister, and girlfriend, sorry.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah. You think that I went to like some like Kansas City barbecue place, just rounded up some women and brought them to the draft? What?
Oh, boy. 615.
That one still blows me away, man.
That was a wild one from old Rich Gannon. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on Will Levis. More on that coming up next. Also something that Predators fans are very mad about as well. We'll get to all that coming up. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063, The Game.
We are your home for every big pass.
Chase Elliott will pick up the stage 1 win.
Big wreck.
Joey Logano gets turned. He's hard into the inside wall.
And big win.
Kyle Busch has won here at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Catch every lap of NASCAR on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Celebrating mothers everywhere. Electronic Express has what you need to make this the best Mother's Day yet. Spoil mom with brands like Samsung, Sony, LG, KitchenAid, Dyson, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. 4K TVs, computers, housewares, smart home, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 3 years free financing. Shop in-store or online. Get more from mom at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
Does this sound familiar? Did your agent provide excellent entertainment with their TikTok videos and constant social media posts about themselves while completely ignoring that you hired them to sell your home? Did they tell you how wonderful they were? How many followers they had? They probably never sold your home, but hey, they did get 15 likes on their selfies. Hashtag my clients love me. Don't let that happen to you. Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why the only likes we care about are our clients loving our service. Ask us about our prepay with TJ option and how it can save you thousands. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Office number 615-432-2919.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321321. That's HUNK to 321321.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Join 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Gary Force Acura, benefiting Souls for Souls, coming up on June the 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. You can put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs to support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes as well. You can sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We'll have Jared Stillman coming up at 7 o'clock, so looking forward to that discussion with him. Taking your thoughts on the Titans. Chuck on the text line says, I'm hoping Levis plays so good that every fan base in the AFC South wants to throw things at him at their home games. This from Chuck on the text line. We encourage people to keep objects to themselves at in stadiums across the league.
That's what you want. You know, Billie Jeans. Will it be Billie Jeans, a derisive call because he's not playing well, or will Billie Jeans take Nashville by storm?
By the way, like one thing I've noticed, everybody that's like either texting in on the text line or like even me when I'm texting other people talking about Levis, it always autocorrects to Levi's. Big missed opportunity by Levi's for NIL in college. Big missed opportunity.
That's a great point. No, and it's like at this point, like especially doing this story, as many different people as I talked to, Liam Cohen and Hasselbeck and his parents and this guy Quint Tatrove, all Levis. It's like, wait, is it ever gonna stop autocorrecting to Levi's? Like, doesn't your phone do that at some point when you type a word?
You would think
like 1,000,000 times.
I mean, it's got to get there soon, right? But a lot of Levi's that we've seen from people trying to type in Levis. Gunner on the text line says, I love hearing Joe somewhat taking up for Will Levis after 2 years of putting him down at Kentucky. This is from Gunner on the text line.
Well, let me read my reply. I said, hey, I still wouldn't bet on him being a franchise quarterback. I'd bet on Bryce Young, and Bryce Young alone in this class. But the personal attacks have been dumb, and having learned more about him, he is impressive. I mean, I don't remember everything I've said about Will Levis, but I think mostly it's been about his play and questioning whether he's going to be a great NFL quarterback, right?
Yeah. Or just making fun of Kentucky football, which is fine.
Sure.
Which is fine.
And making fun of and having fun with the mayo and the coffee, all that stuff. But I mean, it's interesting because that was kind of like one of them was earlier, but it was kind of an NIL strategy, and it's kind of like worked because they both went viral. But also, like, I get why he's sick of like talking about that stuff.
Well,
but he needs to do a new food challenge.
Yeah, just come up with something else, and you can shift your attention from mayo and the coffee to whatever the next food item is.
I bet you at some point Vrabel was like, let's focus on football.
Let's use the TikTok how I use it, which is just cooking recipes. Could be the way you do it.
I wish NIL was around when Vrabel was a player at Ohio State.
Me too. Jeez.
What kind of stuff would he have done?
Could do a lot of good stuff with that one.
Drano for when you put nerds' heads in the toilets and flush it to give them a swirly.
You gotta make sure the path is clear in that toilet, man. Some of that Drano. But no, look, I really enjoyed this piece on Will Levis, and there's one thing that I am not. A couple of things. Number one, the leadership part of it and some of the things that you hear about him from people who have played with him, I think is very encouraging if you're a Titans fan. He's very well liked. A lot of people speak really highly of his leadership style and his ability to galvanize people in the locker room. I really like that. And number two, we talked a lot about this around here in this market, Joe, when Mariota was the quarterback. And not every quarterback has to be this way. Like, there are different ways of doing it. But one thing that I don't worry about with Will Levis is him being too passive out there or not speaking up enough or not having the attitude, quote unquote, that you want from a quarterback. He's going to be just fine in that area, I think.
Yes, I mean that is long. And again, I like Tannehill to me is good. In fact, I've disagreed with our friend Jared, who's coming up next on this. I think Tannehill's a very good leader too. I think he has the right demeanor and he has the respect and command of that. And the thing is, you got to have the respect. Ultimately, you got to earn the respect with your play. That's what's going to do it.
Yeah.
But if Levis does that, he will absolutely naturally assume that leadership role. And yeah, I mean, he rallies. Think about it. He had been at Kentucky a very short period of time. The teammates did two things. One, they begged coaches to the coaches wanted this to happen. That they wanted to see if this would happen, but the players begged them to move him to first team. They had Joey Gatewood. I mean, I thought Joey Gatewood was going to be their starter 2 years ago, coming out of Auburn.
Yep.
And then also they voted him team captain, which is like, the dude's been here not long, but it's just like that's who he is. So yeah, all that stuff is like it's he has the right approach. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I would not have known that before doing this, like really like how people feel about him in that setting. NFL locker rooms are not the same as college locker rooms, so you have to keep that in mind. It's different. And again, you gotta kind of earn the respect first. You gotta have a certain level of just a certain level of play, I think, to even begin to have a voice that matters in an NFL locker room. But he's going to get that opportunity.
They got Dan Graziano right now on SportsCenter breaking down the Titans quarterback room, and there's all these highlights of Tannehill slinging it around, and then Malik Willis roping some throws out there and some game action he got in last year. A lot of depth in that QB room right now, Rexrode. Titans in a good spot.
Yeah, good room. It's a good room. As Tannehill said, Will Levis
Hopefully he adds to it.
Hopefully he adds to the room.
Joe, Predators fans very upset with an announcement yesterday from the NHL. The Vezina Trophy nominees have been confirmed, and Linus Ullmark, to no one's surprise, Ilya Sorokin of the New York Islanders, and Connor Hellebuck of the Winnipeg Jets are the Vezina Trophy nominees for 2023. Obviously, that means that UC Saros is not a Vezina Trophy nominee for this season, and Predators fans are very upset. Joe, your reaction to UC Saros being left out of being a Vezina Trophy finalist?
Well, here on WHMR, as I'm going to tell you, he got hosed. That's too bad. 3 years in a row here, 2 years he absolutely should have been a finalist and wasn't, and then 1 year he was, which is to me the least of the 3 years that he should have been a finalist. But I'm sorry. I think he got hosed here. Who would you put Who would you take out if you were putting him in?
Probably Hellebuck would be my guess.
He's better than Hellebuck.
He's better than Hellebuck.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
there's also the difference between a playoff team and a non-playoff team, right?
I mean, that's what it is. Like, it's had they made the playoffs, he probably gets in there. I think that's really a dumb way to vote. Like, just look at, like, you got to go deeper than that if you're voting on these stuff. And we've talked about before the general managers vote on this thing, and I'm not saying that that's any worse than having anybody else vote. There's problems with voting all across the league. I mean, good Lord. Mark Jackson in the NBA left Nikola Jokic off his MVP ballot in the top 5, which was just one of the dumbest things I've seen. Barkley went nuts about it the other night, and then Jackson finally tweeted about it yesterday. But there's problems with voting all across sports in terms of who's doing it and what that looks like. You know, honestly, I agree with you. I think that he should have been a finalist. I'm 0% surprised that he's not. I would have been surprised had he been named a finalist, just based on the way that the season ended and the Predators not making the playoffs.
I thought the underlying numbers, which were awfully compelling, like the underlying numbers tell a story of like he could win it. I thought that might get him in because they were he so carried them to even get close to the playoffs, which they should not have been. But yeah, it's not a shock, but I actually thought there was a decent chance. By the way, can I just say that Rebecca, that's one of my favorite texts we've ever gotten on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. You seen this?
No.
Well, we're talking about Levis, how autocorrects to Levi's. She says, my phone still types ducking years later. God, I feel your pain, Rebecca, so much.
So does mine.
That is so ducking awesome.
Oh, man. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Jared Stillman. We'll get his thoughts on his victory against Joe Rexrode and his thoughts on a variety of different topics, both with the Titans and the Nashville Predators. That is next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3, The Game.
All the big plays.
Tannehill handling right up the middle. Touchdown, Tennessee.
All the big stories.
The Titans' window to contend is however long Derrick Henry stays Derrick Henry.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Gets it back and scores.
Our execution was good.
They have not found their groove.
It's always great to win in this league. It's tough to win.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated. B&B Flooring's full-service, commercial, and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
If you've been thinking about remodeling your home's kitchen or bath, contact the countertop experts at Smoky Mountain Tops. Willie Donick here, and we installed Smoky Mountain Top surfacing in our kitchen years ago. It's remained durable and super easy to clean up. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the new prestigious Vidara quartz for your kitchen or bath countertops. Vidara surfaces are ideal for use in almost any interior application. Check out the stunning new Vidara quartz shown at Smoky Mountain Top Studio. Contact the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops. Quality, service, and dedication. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com.
Golfers, since 1968, Edwin Watts Golf Shops has been your go-to store for golf gear for Mother's Day. Come check out the latest in women's apparel, shoes, bags, balls, clubs, and more for the perfect gift for mom. This year, we're featuring ladies' Callaway Reva sets for $100 off. Get mom custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at EdwinWattsGolfShops.com.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at Wingstop.com.
I'm Michelle Knezvik. The NFL schedules are out. The Tennessee Titans will have 2 primetime games. The first one will be a Thursday night game, November 2nd against Pittsburgh. And in Week 14, Monday Night Football in Miami. 4 NFL teams have no primetime games this season. The Houston Texans, the Atlanta Falcons, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Arizona Cardinals. Last night, the Denver Nuggets closed out the series against the Suns. They will advance to the Western Conference Finals.
Outlet pass over to Murray for 3. Yes! 67-45. 22-point lead for Denver in the first half.
And the Boston Celtics stayed alive. Jason Tatum was 3 of 4 from the outside in the fourth quarter to seal the deal for the Boston Celtics. And now for Game 7, they'll be in the TD Garden. More playoff action tonight. Game 6, Miami leads 3-2 over the Knicks. That game will tip off at 6:30. And for the late game, Game 6 with the Warriors and the Lakers, LA leads 3-2 in the series. The Nashville Sounds will continue their series against the Gwinnett Stripers tonight at First Horizon Park. This report is presented by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezovic for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rexrode. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace.
Stone Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Cranks it, he scores!
On both sides of the one big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We are scheduled to be joined shortly by Jared Stillman, so we'll see what happens on that front. Could be ducking Joe Rexrode after yesterday. A victory for Jared, and he walks off.
Ducking me, that's pretty ducking week, Jared.
We'll be joined by Jared here in just a few minutes. We just have word. By the way, Schefter has put it out. There's this from Michelle Knezovic that NFL legend Tom Brady is in deep discussions to become a limited partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Sources telling Seth Wickersham and Schefter potentially his second foray into a partnership with Raiders owner Mark Davis on a professional sports franchise in less than 2 months. There we go. So Brady could be getting involved with the Las Vegas Raiders. Joe, your reaction, will he be playing quarterback for the Raiders by 2026?
I know, that's the problem. It's like if he's going to get involved in anything, we're all going to start talking about when he's going to be player owner, you know?
Jimmy G's like, stop following me and
leave
being obsessed
me alone.
with me.
Yeah, Jimmy G's like, my days are numbered. I'm going to be benched in 3 games. Well, Brady's got to stay in. I mean, Brady and Rodgers should just have headline wars, man. They got to stay in the news. I do hope that this means that Mark Davis gets a good haircut at some point.
That could be job number 1 for Tom Brady to figure out when you're in there. Like, hey man, let's do something about that hair. It's not good, man. We got to do something about that.
If anybody can get him to figure it out, it's Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Let's welcome in our friend Jared Stillman to the program. Jared, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on your victory in Jared versus Joe.
Thank you. It was well earned, as is the praise that I'm about to give Joe, because I did read Joe's piece in The Athletic on Will Levis, and I thought it was 2 things. One, I thought it was an incredibly fascinating read about Will Levis and not about Will Levis the quarterback, but more so about Will Levis the kid and where he comes from and things like that. But also the amount of work that I can tell Joe put into that with all the different people that Joe talked to for background on Levis's personality, but Levis's family. And so it was a very well thought out piece, very well written piece, very insightful piece. And it's good because I subscribe to The Athletic and they don't cover the Predators anymore. So at least I got something out of it. Joe, it was a fabulous piece.
I thought we were on a path of just absolute purity in those comments, and then drove it right off the rails at the end there, Joe.
No, yeah. Well, you got to get a shot in. Well, I appreciate it. Actually, I'm glad you did. Thanks, Jared. And also, I'm now not afraid to read JC in Goodlettsville, who says Jared ever winning in Jared versus Joe is akin to the rigged NHL draft lottery.
Oh, okay.
Station manager directive to let him win occasionally. I don't know if it's true or not. I can't confirm or deny. I don't know. But thank you, Jared.
I have to be honest with you, and I just honesty is the best quality. I kind of feel like because Joe had won like 4 in a row, I kind of felt like Caroline had predetermined that I was going to win. And I not that I don't think I didn't deserve to win, because I do think I deserve to win, but I almost think that I could have said anything and I would have won yesterday. But that was just a feel.
We'll have to try that sometime if anybody's on a real streak. Just really bomb out.
Just go
see
out
if
there.
Caroline still picks you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We'll see what happens. Jared, your reaction to the Titans schedule that came out last night. We've identified weeks 2 through 6 as a big test for this team, and you get through London, and then the schedule softens up at least a little bit on paper as we sit here on May the 12th. But what did you think of the Titans schedule?
So I looked at it, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of toss-up games on this schedule. And then I realized it's not so much there's a lot of toss-up games, it's that the Titans are a toss-up team.
Yeah.
It feels like when I think about, what I'm expecting them to do this season. Here's what I'd say. Like, all those toss-ups they have early on in the season, they need to win those. Like, at New Orleans, I think that's a toss-up, right? Because New Orleans is going to have a new quarterback, and I'm not sold that New Orleans is a great team, and it'll take a while for Derek Carr to become acclimated with that entire team. But if it takes Tom Brady time to become acclimated with a new team, it's going to take Derek Carr some time. But yet I don't feel like we should feel entitled that the Titans are going to walk into New Orleans and just beat the Saints. But all of those kind of toss-up games, I feel like they need to win early on, because let's say they lose those, and New Orleans is a toss-up, the Chargers is a toss-up, Cleveland's a toss-up. Then they play Cincinnati at home. I'll just assume that they lose that. They'll beat Indianapolis at Indy. So if they lose some of those toss-ups early on, then they're going to London against the Ravens. And I've said this, that if the season is going off the rails after that London game with the bye week following it, I think that they'll have the opportunity to make the quarterback change. And it won't so much be, well, Levis is better than Tannehill. It'll more so be, well, the season's lost anyways. We might as well play Levis. And if that's the case, it's like Teddy Bruschi said yesterday on ESPN, you're not going to win with a rookie quarterback. So those early toss-ups, the games that aren't really sexy, like no one is saying, oh boy, let's get the group together and go to Cleveland. But that's a really big game on the schedule. So I think if the Titans can weather the storm early on and can really, start fast and win a lot of, win those toss-ups, I think once they get past that London trip, I mean, the back end of the schedule, home games, division games, rookie quarterback games, I don't think it's an awful schedule for how it shapes up at the end. But then again, I mean, as we sit here today, did anybody think the Titans were going to go to Green Bay and smoke the Packers on Thursday Night Football and get doubled up by the Jags? So it's hard to predict these things, to your point, this early in the year.
It is, but I would wager that end of October, rest of the way. Right now, from what we know, these teams, that's got to be the easiest schedule in the NFL by far. Like to me, it's front loaded. And I agree with you, Jared, except I honestly think it'd be interesting. Like, let's say they're 2-4 after the Ravens game. Unless the Jags are tearing the world up, I think you look at the rest of their schedule and you could still, it's like, man, there's plenty of opportunity there, but there will be calls for Levis. There will be pressure. That would be a really interesting situation because, man, I think they could make a ton of hay on this schedule. And then, of course, what we'll find out is, like, the Panthers are the big turnaround team this year in the NFL, or the Bucs are way better we thought, or whatever. Sure. But it looks incredibly soft to me, especially when you compare this schedule. It's just so different when you're a first-place team in those schedules. And your NFC division isn't the weakest NFC division. I mean, the combination of factors here, to me, makes the Titans more of a wild card candidate than I thought they were before I actually went through game by game, if that makes sense.
So I remember when the Titans, Peter King put out his power rankings at the beginning of the week, and the Titans are 18th, which I think is fair. Like, I think the Titans are probably, the 15th, 16th, 17th, 19th, ish best team in the league, which is why all these games are toss-ups, right? Like, Cleveland's a toss-up because don't think Cleveland's that good, but I don't think Cleveland's that bad. But the point I guess I'm making is that the Titans were kind of that team going into the 99 season. I remember, Joe, I don't know if you were a big reader of Dr. Z's back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't really a football fan until the Titans became the Titans. I mean, I went to one Oilers game. They lost to Ryan Leaf and the Chargers, and I told my dad I wasn't going back until the new stadium was built. So I became a football fan, and I remember I used to get Sports Illustrated, and Dr. Z had his predictions, and the Titans were middle of the pack, and it was something about, back in those days, maybe the lack of access, but it was like Dr. Z's mock draft and Dr. Z's predictions carried way more weight than anybody else's predictions nowadays. But everybody kind of viewed the Titans going into that 99 season as a very middling team. And the Titans had added Javon Curse, and they started fast that season. And all of a sudden, they were 13-3 and ultimately in the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but I do think the Titans are sitting in that spot where it is this, they're probably going to be 9-8 or whatever. And then that's where those toss-up games, or really week 2 versus the Chargers at home, that's where those become really big games, because I think that if the Titans can start fast, they can be a team that surprises people. What we have to remember is that the Titans last year had everything wrong happen to them, and they still had a decent team. I mean, they were still 2 minutes and 40 seconds away from the playoffs in a, what I thought was, I didn't think it was as questionable of a fumble call at the time as I did when I saw Josh Allen do the same thing in the playoffs against Cincinnati and they call it the other way. But, I mean, I think that the Titans are not in a great spot, but to your point, that second place schedule and everything else, they could be a surprise team this year.
Jared, last thing here for you, and I want to switch gears really quick because you heard our interview with Barry Trotz the other day, and you heard the comments that he made. My question for you is, if Barry Trotz and the Predators wanted John Hines back and that was their plan, why would they have not said so to this point? And with the more days that are passing by here, with more information and more coaches becoming available, how has that changed the way that you view John Hines and his security coming back for next year?
So Elliot Friedman said this on the Midday Show last week, and it was that Barry Trotz is kind of the unknown wild card here, that if it were David Poile, he'd have more of a feel as to what was going to happen with John Hines. And I think back to how I felt when they started winning games at the end of the year, and I think you and I talked about this off the air, Robbie, and I said they're going to keep him. And I had Barry Trotz on, the season ended on a Friday, and I had Barry Trotz on Thursday, and I asked Barry about Hines' future. And I really thought there was a pretty good chance Barry was going to say on the show that John Hines was coming back. And he didn't. And then there was the press conference, and they had John Hines up there. And so I kind of figured if they have John Hines up there, John Hines is coming back. And then they asked him, and Barry wouldn't say that he was. And then Barry said to you the other day that he's still evaluating. And, I mean, they haven't played a game for a month. So I don't know what there has been to evaluate what there's still left to evaluate from Barry's standpoint. I believe Barry wants to fire John Hines. And I think if somebody wants to fire somebody, they're going to fire somebody. My gut is Barry's got it circled to one or two guys. It might be Carl Taylor, though I did talk to somebody in the Predators organization that said to me, now this may just be their opinion and not the team's opinion, but they said to me that they don't think Carl Taylor's ready to be an NHL coach. So maybe it's not Carl Taylor, but Adam Vingan has been pumping the tires on this Spencer Carberry from Toronto. And apparently there's going to be a lot of teams that might be interested in Spencer Carberry. And it would not surprise me if Barry gets the yay or nay from the guy that he's looking for. In this case, let's just say it's Carberry. Barry gets the yay or nay. And when Barry gets the yay, then they call John in the office and they fire him. Or if he gets the nay, then they say, okay, John will be back. And Barry is kind of looking for his guy. Whether it's, if Lane Lambert gets fired in New York after next year or something like that, Barry will wait to take his swing and not just jump to hire a coach. But I do think he wants to fire John Hines.
Jared, great stuff as always. Thanks for being with us. Enjoy your victory this week over Joe and have a good weekend.
Well, I mean, you got to tell me how you guys feel.
Well, I agree. We talked about this the other day. Like the fact that they have not said that he's coming back yet, the more I think about it, the more I think that there's a person out there or maybe one or two guys that Barry Trotz has his eye on. Otherwise, like at some point, and somebody told this to me, like, at some point, if you're trying to spin it, if he's coming back, it's like, well, did you really want him? Because you left him out to dry for a month there at that point. So I think Barry Trotz has his eye on somebody.
There you go. All right. Good to see you guys. See everybody
we'll
today at 2 o'clock. Schedule takes galore.
Oh, looking forward to it. Coming up at 2 o'clock today. 615-737-1025, our phone number. 615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction to Jared Stillman and what he had to say there. Get back into the Titans coming up next as well. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their homestand at First Horizon Park against Gwinnett.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 6:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Daniel Tosh is back. Sweet Tea Tour.
It is great to be here in America. The greatest country in the world.
September 21st, Ryman Auditorium. On sale Friday, 10 a.m. Online at Ryman.com. Don't miss your chance to see Daniel Tosh. Sponsored by PNC Bank and AXS. Proud partners of Ryman Auditorium.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hi, I'm Jamie Whistles for Souls, a global nonprofit based in Nashville that provides shoes and clothing to people across the world. We're joining forces with 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament on June 7th at the Hermitage Golf Course. A portion of the proceeds from the tournament will provide new shoes to children experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. I hope you'll join us for an afternoon of fellowship and fun, all in support of a great cause. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
We are good to go.
Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, where their advanced pay-by-TJ option can save you thousands when selling your home. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Jared Stillman for being with us in the last segment. We will have C. Thomas Howell coming up at 7:30. Joe, I've discovered that C. Thomas Howell was in basically like all of my favorite shows of all time. He's in
Really?
Yeah, he's in Walking Dead. He's in Longmire on Netflix. He's in a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh.
Don't forget
Tommy
The
Howell,
Outsiders.
though, right? Do we call him Tommy Howell?
I mean, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to call him.
Okay.
He could get mad at me. We'll see. But Tommy Howell, look, the event that he's playing coming up, which we're going to talk a lot about in the next segment, it's called Tommy Howell and Friends, so I feel pretty good about Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I would like to know when the switch happens, so maybe I'll ask that question.
Maybe so. Looking forward to that.
Get excited.
Coming up at 7:30. Jared with apparently a bunch of schedule takes coming up at 2 o'clock today. It is interesting. Like he brought up like a lot of toss-up games for the Titans because it kind of feels like the Titans are a toss-up team. I would largely agree with that. I mean, look, I brought up the first part of the schedule for the Titans where you're on the road at New Orleans, L.A., Cleveland, and Cincinnati, the first 4 games. I said it earlier, I don't think this will happen, but I could absolutely see 0-4 there. Like, I mean, it's you got Justin Herbert, you've got Deshaun Watson, you've got Joe Burrow that you have to play, Derek Carr taking over in a new situation in New Orleans. So I would assume the Titans are going to get at least 1 or 2 of those games, but 0-4 definitely within the realm of possibility for me. Maybe I'm being too negative.
No, it's possible. It's certainly possible. The opener in particular is an opportunity. You're right. It's Derek Carr's debut, and that Superdome can rock, and it's all everybody's got a lot of hope on opening day. I don't think the Saints are very good. You got to win that one. The Browns one is interesting because, like Jared said, people may not get all excited, but man, that's Cleveland again. Like Deshaun Watson is the most I have no idea what he is player.
Yep.
I know what he is off the field, but as a player, no idea. And that team has a very good roster, So I could see Cleveland actually being a player in the AFC this year. No one ever talks about them, but they have that kind of roster, I think. So that's a tough one. No, you're not. 0-4 is certainly possible. If that's the case, well, then
it's gonna get loud.
Start the Levis train. Yeah,
gonna get very loud. Rob on the text line says, "My reaction to Jared, he was somewhat positive about the Titans, talking about they could be a surprise team. Little Jared is growing up, and it makes me so proud." This is from Rob on the text line.
An unnamed texter said, "Jared couldn't hang up until you said I love you too."
That is true. He was very excited to hear my thoughts on the Barry Trotz thing after that. By the way, I had a texter that asked about the July 1st thing. I get it, like officially July 1st, Barry Trotz is taking over, but I can promise you that's not a factor here. Like if he wanted to move on or hire somebody, they're not waiting until July 1st when he officially takes over to do that.
Yeah, that one is starting to become what's that? That's the new what?
That's a good question.
Like there's just I get it. Like I get why people think that. Yeah, kind of.
The plane from Green Bay.
Well, I don't know if anything can match the plane from Green Bay.
It's Tika.
But it's just one of those I get why you think that, but if you really step back and think about it, yeah, he's in charge. Like, oh, well, now I can find. All right, now we're switching to Folgers Crystals in that coffee machine. It's July 1st. I'm done sitting here and just taking it all these weeks. Now I'm in charge. I'm the captain now,
I mean, it kind of sounds awesome to think about it that way, though.
Yeah, it does. But it's like, yeah, I mean, he's doing the job. He's doing the job right now. He had a chance to say John Hines. He had a chance. He was asked at a press conference. It was Barry Trotz who was asked this. John Hines, he the coach next year? And then you asked him again. I mean, like he could say, guys, July 1st, you can ask me that question.
Right.
Now, on that day, I can, but right now, I'm speaking until spoken to on all matters in the organization. No, that's not reality.
Yeah, that's not reality. It is very interesting. I mean, Joe, the more I've thought about this, the more I wonder if, here in the next couple of days and weeks. The other part of this is, like, you look at all the openings right now, like Washington hasn't hired anybody yet. Obviously the Rangers haven't hired anybody yet. Like, the hiring part of this around the league hasn't really kicked off yet. At some point that's going to happen, and teams are going to start hiring coaches here as they move into, obviously the NHL draft is next month. You're going to have your coach in place by then. So, we're not that far away from people starting to hire coaches around the league, and I wonder what exactly that looks like, whether it's Carberry or somebody else that Trotz would have his eye on. But the more you think about it, the more I think that could be a possibility. And, if you're Barry Trotz, the way that he's played it this far is if you do have your eye on somebody that you want, great. You can go try to get him. If it doesn't work, I think you've left yourself enough wiggle room where John Hines can be back next year.
Yeah, with a ringing endorsement.
Yes.
So, by the way, Vingan, faithful listener from 6:00 in the morning.
Yes.
Did want to correct himself. Carberry was the ECHL coach in the Caps organization when Barry was there. He was elevated to AHL after Barry left.
Correct.
Not that really matters, but just to make sure that we have it accurate. And I do wonder, like, is he a coveted guy who multiple teams are waiting on right now?
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, first off, they play tonight. Toronto does in Florida. So can they stay alive and extend the series? The game is in Toronto tonight. So
they're home. Yeah.
So we'll see if they can stay alive tonight in Game 5. They did win Game 4. They're down 3-1 in the series. So they got an uphill battle. But if they get eliminated, like if Spencer Carberry is of interest to the Predators or of several different teams around the league, how quickly does that kind of coaching domino take place after that? It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and it's just like I went to 49, and it's again, we're going to get this press release, and it's like, John Hines, 3-year extension.
Right.
And it's just going to be like, why do we go down these rabbit holes? But, man, I don't think that we're off base with this one. I really don't. I don't think that this is an irresponsible hot take about the situation. I mean, I like, if you're John Hines right now, you just can't feel good about this.
Yep.
You can't.
I don't think so either. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, we'll be joined by C. Thomas Howell, actor and musician. He's got a cool event coming up here in Nashville beginning tomorrow. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Tonight.
Rebel to the top of the left circle. Shot, they score!
The Milwaukee Admirals open up the second round in the AHL playoffs against the Texas Stars. Follow the future Preds here. Coverage begins at 7 on your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's time for Nashville Sounds Baseball with a Friday fireworks show. The Sounds take the field tonight at 6:35 against the Gwinnett Stripers. Gates open at 5:30, but stick around for the whole game to enjoy a post-game fireworks show. Tickets available now at NashvilleSounds.com.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, comfort in cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
Spring into action. Take the short drive to Social Furniture on the West Side. You'll be amazed with Social Furniture's huge selection of top quality, name brand furniture. Social Furniture has your dream furniture on sale now during our spring home makeover sale. Why shop at Social Furniture? Great furniture, great service, great prices. Full service, hassle-free delivery, and interest-free financing with no money down. Make Social Furniture a great place to furnish your home. If you want a deal, don't wait, shop now.
I shop at Social Furniture because of the money I saved and the way I'm treated.
If you missed the latest from Stillman & Company.
And we talked about Harold Landry being out and what it meant to the depth chart. Now Weaver's going to be in and all this stuff. Then TD came on at 3 and TD broke it down and TD talked about other options and TD talked about Weaver. TD talked about the other parts of the roster and everything else. Then we got to 4 o'clock and I was like, they're screwed. They're screwed. Without Harold Landry, their leading sacker, they had already given away their leading receiver, and now they were without their leading sacker. The best thing about their team is their defensive line. And now they don't have that anymore. They're screwed. Well, today it's the opposite, which is apparently things are going great for Harold Landry. Things are going great in his recovery. And I think that is absolutely great news for the Titans. Harold Landry is expected to be 100% by the start of training camp.
Stillman and Company, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. They talk sports.
The Predators get the 2 points, which is obviously what they needed.
They're not making big moves that are jaw-dropping signings in free agency.
They talk life.
Well, I almost just fell down the stairs, so there's that.
My backpack was so heavy, the seatbelt alarm was going off the entire trip.
But most of all, they have a good time.
Here or there.
Yeah.
Chase and Michelle, weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We are scheduled to be joined shortly by actor and musician C. Thomas Howell. So looking forward to that coming up here in just a few minutes. By the way, Joe, somebody on the text line has pointed out to you that C. Thomas Howell was in Red Dawn. So educational day for you.
No, it's not an education. Are you kidding me?
I was
like,
joking.
Oh my God. I immediately was like, no, duh. I mean, I saw that movie like 5 times in the theater, bro.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Now, I haven't seen the the new Red Dawn.
It's okay.
They have to remake every freaking movie, but how could you improve on perfection?
Yeah. The first one is much better. The new one's it's all right, but the first one is much better.
In fact, I believe it was C. Thomas's character who drank the deer blood, right?
I believe so.
Yes. I won't even ask, Michelle. I will not even ask.
Yeah, you already know the answer, guys. I did see The Outsiders, though. I did see that.
All right.
Oh, good. Now, have you seen E.T.?
Yeah.
Okay.
That movie used to freak me out as a kid.
It's an all-time great movie. That's his first movie.
Yeah. We had somebody talking about C. Thomas Howell in Criminal Minds and how he was really terrifying in that. I can't say that I've seen that, but the guy's been in a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. No, and cool that he's gone the music route, you know. Have to check that out.
Yep, looking forward to that. We'll be joined by him coming up here in just a few minutes. Maddie on the text line says, is there a no tampering rule in the NHL, i.e. could Trotz have already reached out to Spencer Carberry? Yes, there is a tampering rule, so you cannot reach out to him legally.
Now, does that mean that intermediaries don't get involved in conversations?
Yeah.
Yeah. I suspect that happens from time to time.
We got a texter that says the Bruins haven't fired anybody yet. I don't think Jim Montgomery's going to get fired. They did win 65 games in the regular season.
That'd be a move.
That would be. Now, it is interesting to think about them because, is Bergeron going to retire? Is Krejci going to step away again? Like a part of why they're really good is they got those two guys for like absurdly cheap contracts. So, Jim Montgomery I think is a good coach, but probably not going to be as successful as he was this past season as they move forward here. And the playoff window is kind of like that. Kind of felt like it was it for the Bruins, and now they're going to have to kind of revamp themselves moving forward.
Yeah, look, man. So what is it? What's the line? What's the President's Trophy line? Is 118 points? Is that right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like if you get that many points, a team has never won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
that many or more,
which is wild to think about.
And I mean, I hate to be that guy, but I think that if I was in that situation, I would tank to stay under 118. I mean, at some point, you go with the math.
Well, it's interesting because there are like two schools of thought on it. Number one, they're spending, like particularly this year, like the case of the Bruins, and I remember people thinking this way with the Predators too. Like you're expending so much energy to win and to be the number one overall seed heading into the playoffs that it catches up to you by playoff time. And then there's the other school of thought that like you clinch things so early and then you stop playing and you try to rest, and it's hard to ramp it back up by playoff time too. It's a tough needle to thread as a coach.
I think there is truth to that last thing. I really do. Like you obviously don't want to be totally beat up and exhausted and everything like that, and there's value in rest, but I think a team that gets into the kind of rhythm they got into this year, like it's such a departure in the last month of the season, right? And then you just have the massive pressure. I mean, the pressure and the history adds to the pressure too.
Yep, no question about that. Do you think the Leafs stay alive tonight, Joe, in the playoffs?
I was shocked they stayed alive last time out.
I was too. But in a way, it's kind of poetic justice.
I kind of do feel like they will.
Oh, see, I think they're done tonight.
You think they're done? Yeah, they're probably done.
They can set the stage back at home in Toronto to lose in front of their own fans. In a way, I think that's just more poetic tonight.
That's a good point. Let's everybody all gather together let's all confirm this with our own eyes. Like this is it. The core four. Yeah, like big changes are coming. But I mean, they may actually. Look, I sit here and talk about this here franchise that I'm drinking the coffee cup.
Yeah,
1957. I mean, 1967 is not that much. I mean, so maybe there's something. There's just something in the water, man.
Maybe so. We'll see what happens on that front. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We are taking your thoughts. 615-737-1025. Lots of thoughts to get to throughout the show on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. With that in mind, let's go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in actor and musician C. Thomas Howell, beginning his residency coming up at City Winery tomorrow, backstage with Tommy Howell and friends, featuring the cast of Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, and The Outsiders. Mr. Howell, good morning. How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
We're awesome. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So tell us about what's going on at City Winery beginning tomorrow and what you've got coming together over there in the next couple of weeks here.
It's just a dream come true, to be honest with you. I started playing music a few years ago, and a big part of that, a part of my show is storytelling. And growing up, one of my favorite moments on TV were those old variety shows, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember the Johnny Cash shows or the John Denver shows. They were musically driven, and they'd bring on some of their friends or guests and perform some comedy sketches and just talk about life in general and working together. And I have missed that over the years and started thinking, well, what would happen if I sort of brought some of the people that I worked with together with some of the contemporary musicians of today. I live in Nashville, of course, and kind of use that platform to share a few laughs and play some music and have a good time together. And it was just an idea at first that everybody seemingly has embraced. And we're kicking off on Saturday, and my first guest is the cast of Cobra Kai. And we're going to be talking about what it's like to work on that show. And, of course, I've worked with all those people over the years, and we'll have a few laughs about some of the things that we've done together and play some music. And, of course, at the City Winery, there's good food and drink, and the family can all come and reach out and meet the people that they've watched on television and listen to some new tunes from myself. And we always got some great guests coming up there that we don't announce. And there's a surprise for everybody every show, and we're just kicking off on Saturday, and we'll be doing it generally every Friday over at the City Winery. So it's just a great platform to have a great time.
So, Tommy, I have a few quick questions for you. When did you switch to Tommy? When did you get into music? When did you move to Nashville? And could you describe your musical style to us? I know that's a bunch at once.
It's funny. COVID kicked in a few years back. And, of course, I didn't want to get on the other side of that thing with a degree in drinking. So I picked up a guitar and started to play, basically motivated from an idea that I have brewing about it was a movie originally that I wanted to do, sort of for this conversation, a take on Tender Mercies, but my own version of that. And, I grew up in a rural environment. My father was a professional bull rider for 10 years, and rodeo and cowboying and ranching is a big part of our lives. And I started to play the guitar and realized I had a bit of a knack for writing songs. And what happened was spending 40 years in Hollywood and telling stories in a 2-hour format really allowed a seamless transition into a 2-minute format. And when I started to get in front of people, there seemed to be a real value in sharing my stories that I, of course, never thought would carry any weight. And lo and behold, this thing just sort of caught fire, and we've just been having the time of our lives. Now, going to the Tommy thing, I've always been called Tommy. C. Thomas Howell was sort of a union thing. My father's in the same union. We have the same name, and it was either that or be a junior. And when I was younger, my father just hung the initial on me. And when I transitioned into music, especially into country music, I didn't want to create. I just wanted to be much more approachable. And there's, I've never been able to play myself ever. I've always hidden behind roles and makeup and lenses and storylines. But when I'm up on stage, I get to be me. And I'm not C. Thomas Howell. Nobody calls me that. Everybody's always called me Tommy my whole life. So we just decided to punt the C. And in fact, I tried to do it a long time ago in film, and most of the producers won't let me do it anymore. The marketing is, I've been around since dirt. So some people tend to hold on to that. But this was just a great opportunity for me to be myself and present who I really am. So we just decided to go with the Tommy Howell, and it's been just a real blast, to tell you the truth.
Well, Tommy, your debut album, American Storyteller, is now out. What was it like putting that together, and what did you kind of learn about putting together an album in the music industry there?
The beauty of what I'm doing is I don't have to sell anything. I'm not trying to be famous. I don't have suits or a label behind me pushing me. It's just been a beautiful snowball that has collected as we've been rolling downhill. And to be honest, y'all, the only thing that I focused on is staying out of my own way. I'm not trying to manipulate anything. I'm not trying to force anything. I've just been, sort of like that popcorn eating emoji, watching the whole damn thing take place, and nobody's been more excited than me. I've just am surprised all the time and every day when a new invite comes around. For example, we'll be playing Sturgis this year. We opened up for Tanya Tucker in Tulsa a couple months back, and these invitations just keep coming, and I keep growing as an artist, and more importantly, as a person. And I'm just going out there and wrapping my arms around people and having a damn good time. And the thing just keeps on going. So I'm just really trying to stay out of my own way, to be honest with you. And it's just been a real blast.
That is awesome. Tommy, I do want to say, my youngest is a 7th grader. She just read The Outsiders, as many of us did in 7th grade. And then she just watched the movie The Outsiders. And when I told her that we may have you on the show, she was like, "No, I need to meet him because she's in love with Pony Boy, from 1983, as many were."
Bless her heart. Bless her heart. I tell you what, it's one of my favorite things to do. Every year I get a new batch of 13, 14-year-old little girls that have read the book and seen the movie, and they start reading on social media, and they're crying because Johnny has passed away. And then they find out Pony Boy is 56, and the tears start really rolling.
Is there a particular role?
Not to interrupt, but no joke. When we're done, if you reach out to the people that put this together for us, I'll make sure I sign something for her. I'll sign a book for her and send it out to you. And it'd be my pleasure to do that.
No, I really appreciate that. Is there a particular role through your career of acting that you're especially proud of or you're especially enjoyed?
Reinventing yourself as an artist through the years is so important and not an easy thing to do. And, Hollywood tends to not be able to think for themselves very well. And, when I played a role in Criminal Minds called The Reaper, and I never really had a chance to play the villain before. And suddenly, when that came out, I was offered villains all the time. I really feel like my latest role is probably my favorite. It's a show on Netflix called Obliterated that won't be out until fall. It was created and produced by the same producers and writers from Cobra Kai. It's sort of an action adventure / comedy. And for this conversation, picture the series 24 meeting the movie Hangover. So
wow,
I play a member of an elite team that's put together by the government to go locate a dirty bomb that's being sold on the black market in Vegas. And basically, we did 8 episodes. On the very first episode, we find the bomb halfway through. It's dismantled, and my character, being the wacky guy that he is, decides to spike the guacamole and wipe out his team with some acid and mushrooms, and everybody's freaking out when they get a phone call that was the decoy bomb, and we now have 5 hours to find the real bomb, and everybody's annihilated. And, boy, I tell you, it was the time of my life. I was so proud of that cast. It's one of the most fun projects that I've ever been a part of, and I'm super excited for it to come out, and I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Yep, very much looking forward to that. Backstage with Tommy Howell and Friends featuring the cast of Cobra Kai, underway tomorrow at City Winery. You can buy tickets for that at citywinery.com. Tommy, thanks so much for taking time to be with us this morning. Have fun starting tomorrow over at City Winery, and we'll see you soon.
Sure, thank you guys for this time, and have a great day, everybody.
Absolutely. Tommy Howell, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Joe, looking forward to that. The musical taste, going from acting, and obviously he's still doing some acting work, as he just talked about there with the series on Netflix coming out later this fall. But switching from acting to music.
I know. Yeah, I'm excited to go check that out. I love that venue. That's a really cool place if people haven't been there. And yeah, it should be awesome. And the show sounds awesome too.
Does sound awesome. And the cast of Cobra Kai, I know that's enough to, like, my dad is hooked already with Cobra Kai. Big set. So we're there. 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning here on the program. We will do that next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3, The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robby and Rexrode for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's heat wave heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heatwave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
Imagine her delight when she unwraps a luxurious spa day from A Moment's Peace, the newly remodeled day spa and salon in Cool Springs. Time is running short, but whether you spend a little or go lavish, you can take comfort that your gift will be treasured, your love on display and a smile on her face. Give affordable luxury from A Moment's Peace for mums, dads and grads in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall at the intersection of Carruthers Parkway and Bakersbridge Avenue. Call 224-0770 or click online anytime at momentspeace.com.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Rolling down the street in a Hyundai Tucson. Wonder why you married a two? Laid back.
And it is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode here on Robby and Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45, in this case 7:50. Thanks to Tommy Howell for joining us in the last segment here. Joe, the look of disgust on your face every time this song is played is music to my ears, a wonderful sight to behold.
I mean, there's got to be elimination of that, right? Can we eliminate that?
Rolling down the street in a Hyundai. It's a great tune, Joe.
You nailed
it. The thing is, that was going pretty well, and then like the last verse, I got off like schedule, and then I was like, yeah, I should have just taped this. Next one, I don't know. Like going live with that is, whew. But you know.
We'll go recording studio next time.
Do. Yeah. Well, I don't know, though. There's something to the rawness of that, though, too, you know, like of having to be live and having that situation. So time for, and just, you know, embarrassing yourself, which I'm very good at. But I want to quickly, it's a serious topic I wanted to get into. I'll do it quickly. Matt Araiza, San Diego State, punter, NFL dream. I think he'd be a great punter in the NFL right now. Cut by the Bills, signed a big deal. Of course, there was he was sued in a civil case in essentially taking part in a gang rape. And so credit to Dan Wetzel, friend of the show. That's the first I read of this.
Yeah.
That there's evidence that this is not true. And look, it's still very much a situation to me that I don't personally feel comfortable saying anything absolutely definitively. Just like we never know what happens in these situations. We rely on the authorities. Okay. And that's what you must do. And ultimately, as everybody knows or should know, there are plenty of sexual assaults where no charges are ever brought. There's not enough evidence for charges. It does not mean the sexual assault didn't happen. I'm not applying that to this. I'm just saying in general, you really have to, you just rely on the authorities. So there's been a lot of other stories. And frankly, if it's true that like he had nothing to do, he wasn't there, that's the new information. Absolutely, his NFL career should be restored.
Yeah.
I mean, if 100%. One thing about this that bothers me, there's a lot of backlash too, like toward the media on how they covered this. And first of all, like I've seen a lot of like, oh, no one's going to talk about this now. It's like, well, no, that's not true. With Wetzel, again, credit to him. Wetzel's one of the best sports journalists in the country. Really dug in on it, and you can find stories on this at just about every outlet now. Like, I don't know what you expect media who are covering this to do. Like, you have information that, again, you're leaning on the authority. You're leaning on official documentation that you can gather. Like, I understand there's a social media thing like, oh, get him off the face of the earth or whatever. That's different than media covering it, okay?
Right.
I mean, to me, there's nothing that has been done wrong by media. Here's new information. Now here's new stories about it. So I've seen a lot of like, the group think, and everybody didn't want to, they just wanted to say, get rid of them because they're afraid to say the truth. It's like, but who knew that? Like, this is new information. And so that bothered me about it. Again, as often is the case, I'm going to defend media on a lot of things. Media is far from perfect, and some people in media are terrible. But the idea that this was like, something that someone withheld or didn't do the job on it's just not true. It's not accurate. Now, we have new information now. And again, I hope he gets back in the NFL. If that's the case, I think he will. I think that just because at one point the world, and in particular social media world, decided that he needed to just go away forever does not mean that there can't be new information. People can't change their minds. So that's really what I wanted to say about it.
Yep, really serious situation. Like you said, shout out to Dan Wetzel for reporting that. He was the first place where I saw this too. And like you said, I mean, if you get through the information here and it turns out that, he wasn't there and that turns out to be true, then yeah, he should be back in the NFL. I mean, he's 22 years old and he's got a heck of a leg for sure. So we'll see how the rest of that situation plays out. But certainly that's been a big topic in the NFL this week. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans, the schedule released yesterday, Will Levis, and more. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
Most people pick them to make the playoffs before the season even started.
And your source for Nashville sports.
He can still wait for 5 more games before he makes that decision.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report is in, and the Pella Windows and Doors brand is #1 for the most trusted, most often recommended by others, and highest quality. Nashville area homeowners are very lucky because Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of the top locations in the country. They provide award-winning excellence when it comes to craftsmanship and installation. If you need new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Golfers, since 1968, Edwin Watts Golf Shops has been your go-to store for golf gear for Mother's Day. Come check out the latest in women's apparel, shoes, bags, balls, clubs, and more for the perfect gift for mom. This year, we're featuring ladies' Callaway Reva sets for $100 off. Get mom custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at EdwinWattsGolfShops.com.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days. And a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. It's that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Buffalo Bill's Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming welcomes you as you enter Yellowstone Park's east entrance. 5 museums in one, including a wonderful Plains Indian Museum. Welcome to the West. Buffalo Bill's Center of the West, Cody, Wyoming.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, traffic, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezovic. The NFL schedules are out. The Tennessee Titans will have 2 primetime games. The first one will be a Thursday night game, November 2nd against Pittsburgh. And in Week 14, Monday Night Football in Miami. 4 NFL teams have no primetime games this season. The Houston Texans, the Atlanta Falcons, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Arizona Cardinals. Last night, the Denver Nuggets closed out the series against the Suns. They will advance to the Western Conference Finals.
Outlet pass over to Murray for 3. Yes! 67-45. 22-point lead for Denver in the first half.
And the Boston Celtics stayed alive. Jason Tatum was 3 of 4 from the outside in the fourth quarter to seal the deal for the Boston Celtics. And now for Game 7, they'll be in the TD Garden. More playoff action tonight. Game 6, Miami leads 3-2 over the Knicks. That game will tip off at 6:30. And for the late game, Game 6 with the Warriors and the Lakers, LA leads 3-2 in the series. The Nashville Sounds will continue their series against the Gwinnett Stripers tonight at First Horizon Park. This report is presented by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezovic for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
1, 2, 3.
I think it was a good game.
Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning. And we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD. TD, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. TD, the schedule is out. It's one of the interesting times of the year. We know who the Titans have or who we're going to be playing for a while now. Now we know when the schedule will take place. Rexrode has highlighted weeks 2 through 6 against the Chargers and the Browns and the Bengals and a lot of AFC teams during that stretch. It's a really important stretch early in the season for the Titans. What stands out to you about the schedule after it came out last night?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. I think one of the things that's really interesting is how, you know, that back end of the schedule, there's a bunch of games against the AFC South. So it'll really get interesting there. You know, you got the home and away against the Texans. You know, that's going to be something. You got the Jaguars in there as well to finish the season. So you got those. And before that, home and away, you know, a couple of weeks before that, you got the Colts. So there's going to be an opportunity to really have some things decided, you know, at the back end of the schedule. So I thought that was interesting. I do like the bye where they have that. A lot of people will complain that it's too early, but, I mean, look, you know, you got that London trip and you come back and you got that bye week, and that's something where, okay, let's see what happens, you know, in those first 6 games. If there's not good football on film, there could be a change, you know, and that bye week is a perfect opportunity to do that. And if you're going to switch over to Will Levis, that's an opportunity to get him ready.
I agree with that, TD, and I think if they can, get through the early part okay. I mean, the thing is, they've got, like, I've kind of thought, okay, but like be 3-3, you're fine, because the rest of the schedule it's got to be the easiest. Like, after that off week, that's got to be the easiest rest of the schedule in the league. I mean, I know they're already like 29th overall, but you take out some of those tough games. So that's the thing. It's like, I agree with you. Like, if they're 2-4, there will be calls for Levis. It won't look good, all that. But to me, like, unless the Jags are just like 5-1 or 6-0, you look at the rest of the Titans schedule and like you still have a real chance, I think, to make a lot of ground. And I also think, TD, like, just being that second place team, you see the difference with, the teams they have to play as opposed to the Jags.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at what happened last year, right? Everybody thought that, we all included, thought that, hey, it's a foregone conclusion to win the division, but Jacksonville had a stronger back end and the Titans had a terrible one. So you definitely have that. And let me be clear, I'm not saying I think they will or should do that at week 6. I was just pointing that out as a place where it would be ideal if they were going to do it. I agree with you 100%. You look at the schedule, that back end especially, there's a bunch of easy games. And then, like I said, you have divisional games that you could definitely make a mark in.
Teron Davenport with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, TD, kind of the forgotten man in this discussion that we've talked with you some about over the offseason is Malik Willis. And obviously we can see the writing on the wall with Will Levis and the plans for the Titans moving forward. But Malik Willis, what have you heard about just maybe some improvement that he's made, and how important is this training camp, not only for his time potentially with the Titans, but maybe his time in the NFL as a whole?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we talked about him with Tim Kelly and with Rand Carthon and even Mike Rabel at the Combine, that was the last time he was actually mentioned. But they said that they liked the way he was carrying himself in the building, as a leader, and they need him to be a more consistent player. That's one of the things that they said. They like what he's doing as far as working in the off season. We know that he's at Vanderbilt, working with Traylon Burks and Kyle Phillips and some of those guys, Hassan Haskins as well. So that's more or less what it is. And, it goes back to something that Pat O'Hara said just before the Jaguars game, where he talked about the process being ongoing. And he was like, sometimes you can't take the elevator, you got to take the stairs. So that kind of touches on the extensive time that it's going to take to get him to where they want him to be. But obviously that's something that has to hurry up, being as though Levis is there now. So that's going to be snaps taken away from him. I think Willis will remain in the league. I don't know if they'll be able to pass him through to the practice squad. I would imagine somebody would snap him up if they were to release him when it's time for roster cut down. So it's definitely going to be important for him to have a good training camp and show some progress in these preseason games. You got the Bears, Vikings, and Patriots. So that'll give him an opportunity to do so.
Petey, I'm going to evoke our earlier guest today, your friend Jared, and I asked you this question. He's adamant about this, and I don't know if you guys talked about this week, but he's adamant that Vrabel on draft night promised the fans that he would go get a receiver. To me, I thought he was just placating everyone when Karski kind of pressed him on the receiver situation. How did you view those comments? And I mean, I know we've talked about this so often about the different options they have, but where do you think things go in that room?
Yeah, I didn't think that he was even promising that they would go get a receiver. I think he was more or less saying, they'll get the room figured out. That's more or less how it came across to me. I highly doubt, and he's very selective with his words, I highly doubt he would intentionally say, hey, we are going to go get a player and bring him in. I don't think that was the case.
TD, what have you made of the reaction from Titans fans to the Will Levis pick to this point?
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking with my editor about that on Tuesday. He brought up a good point that Levis is going to bring some Kentucky fans to altitude at Nissan Stadium. You know, it just brings some Kentucky fans to the Titans, period. But it's just interesting how they don't want to support. A lot of them don't want to support him. Now, I don't know if that's because he's a Kentucky guy and they love Tennessee. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's really interesting. Man, people are so upset about it. You know what I mean? And I tell you what, if you think about this, landing with the Titans is the best situation for Will Levis, and I think it's the one that's most conducive to his success. So I'm not saying turn around and make him your favorite player, but I would say give him a chance and see how it'll work out.
Yeah, I mean, at least like tape over the Mariota on the jersey before you buy the new Levis number 8, right? And start there and see where it goes. When you say best case, why do you think it's the best landing spot for him?
Yeah, well, I wrote about this yesterday, and the thing is, you got to look at the similarities between what he did, in Kentucky, especially when he was with Liam Cohen. In 2021, his best year. There's very similar things as far as like actually being under center, turning your back to the defense on play action, and flipping your shoulders back and making a play. Not a lot of people do that in college, and it takes a little bit of a transition to do it in the league. But he already has that ability. And then you also look at just keeping on that play action theme. The Titans have the third most play action behind the Ravens and the Rams since Mike Vrabel came into the league, as a coach in 2018. So on those things, 2021 to 2022, there was a difference of about almost 20% difference in the amount of play action. And we know that Levis struggled a bit in 22. He's best suited under play action. That really works for him. It makes the reads easier, and we know that there have been situations where there was times where he, made bad decisions with the football. That play action makes it easier to make better decisions, so that's a good thing. And then in addition to that, he has a big arm, and it's really interesting. Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, they talked about it to where how strong his arm is. He could actually go through and fully execute the play action fake and not worry about the receiver running, out of reach for him. So that's a big thing. It all works to me just as far as what they're asking him to do and what he did at Kentucky.
TD, tell us what we got this week on Talking with TD.
Yeah, so we dug in a little bit. I had Owen Reese, who's one of the main scouts for the East-West Shrine Bowl. He's also a former offensive line coach. So got him to dig in about Peter Skoronski. That was really good. And we got Chris Sanders and I run TMC. We reminisced a bit on some of his rookie minicamp memories and what to expect for that. So that's what you could check out on the show this week.
Looking forward to that. We've tweeted that out at 1025 The Game on Twitter as well, so you can go back and check that out, Talking with TD, the latest edition. TD, good stuff as always. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. Appreciate it. You guys take it easy.
Absolutely. Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll continue the discussion on the Titans. Take your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025 on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. All that's coming up. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063 The Game.
Saturday. The IndyCar Series heads to the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Hard to pass, and it's shoulder-to-shoulder contact there.
For some left and right turns on the road course.
Teammates contact nose to nose.
Coverage begins at 2.
Don't bring it home, buddy.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Driving his way to victory lane.
And the Game Nashville app.
Get a great deal on one of the most versatile tractors in the industry, the Kubota L, which is part of Kubota's tractor lineup rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Stop by Krebs Kubota today to bring home select L Series equipment for $0 down. 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $800. Now through June 30th, see Krebs Kubota or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details. Krebs Kubota, Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment dealer. Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Online at KrebsKubota.com.
The team at Mercedes-Benz of Music City have done it again. Here's Edwin Vickery to explain.
4-time recipient of Best of the Best. Less than 10% of the dealers in the country receive this award. How did you do it? We say culture eats strategy for lunch, because we can strategize all we want, but unless you have the right culture and chemistry in the dealership, it will not work.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
She would do anything for you. She's your biggest fan. She's your mom. And mom turned upside down spells wow. So give her a day full of wows this Mother's Day, starting with an incredible gift from the Diamond Cellar. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. From classic diamond jewelry to luxury pieces from our world-class designers, we have the perfect gifts for every mom, stepmom, or grandmother. Show her how much you care with something she really wants, but would never buy herself. Visit us at the Diamond Cellar in Green Hills. The possibilities are endless.
What should we do with the broke propeller? What should we do with the broke propeller? Don't look at me, I wasn't driving. Thank you, you're not helping. I don't even know why you bought this boat. You told me that you loved this boat. That was before you wrecked the boat. Well, now you've made it awkward.
Accidents don't just happen in sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-241-5944. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-241-5944 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-241-5944 to see if you qualify. That's 800-241-5944.
Anyone want to tell me what happened?
Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to thegamenashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Good morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I had the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball at 6:35 on 94.9 The Fan. Sounds taking on the Gwinnett Stripers, AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. Robby and Rexrode here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, helping home buyers and sellers in Middle Tennessee for 20 years. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Joe, what did you think of TD's comments there in the last segment about maybe this being the best possible landing spot for Will Levis as he gets his career kicked off?
Yeah, definitely. By the way, do you have me right now?
I do.
Okay. Sorry. The microphone said some weird message to me, so I was worried. Yeah, the good analysis, and certainly that's been the book on Levis, is that as a play action passer, that's where he has absolutely excelled. At times been really impressive. So no, I think that makes sense. From a football perspective, I mean, we'll see how things changes under Tim Kelly. We'll see how things. I don't think that Will Levis will have much, if any, time. Well, unless it's this season, much, if any, time with Derrick Henry as an aid to the play action. But look, it's been demonstrated in the NFL. You can still run effective play action even without an effective running game. It helps. It helps to have someone who who forces linebackers and safeties to creep up, but you can still have an effective play action game without that. So I think that makes sense. And I also think, I think that we talked about it earlier with Levis, Vrabel, that mindset I mean, Levis, look, everybody says stuff. Like, people get drafted and they're like, oh, man, you know what? This is the team I was hoping for. This is exactly what I was hoping for. And really, they were like 7th on their list. That happens. But when Levis talked to all of us on the Zoom right after he was picked, I mean, it was pretty convincing to me that, like, you know, as much as he tried to like not have favorites, because that's the mindset you should have, that he did have a special feeling about like the Titans, how they do things. And it does kind of, I mean, sorry, Vols fans who are also Titans fans, but there is some Kentucky football, Titans football kind of carryover, right? I mean, there is. I mean, it's the same basic offense, and it's defense and run the football. And the thing is, before Levis, defense, run the football, and like have sort of a receiver at quarterback and hope that's good enough, you know. But like, there's a certain toughness thing that Stoops has had to instill in Lexington, get them. I think he's done an incredible job, and I think that's part of the Titans too. So get excited, Robby Stanley and other Vols fans.
Is the carryover?
Let's go.
Not being able to win the state of Tennessee, like what's that carryover?
Oh, they didn't. The Titans didn't win much last year either. So
that's true. They lost a lot of games in the state of Tennessee last year.
They did.
And prior to last year, the Vols were kind of in that category too.
No doubt about that. 615-737-1025. One team they're never in that category against, I can tell you, is in Kentucky. That's for sure. The Will Levis part of this, you brought up an interesting piece, and we talked about this earlier, that you come out with on The Athletic, kind of going behind the scenes with Will Levis and providing some background on how he got to this point, more of the person Will Levis is rather than the quarterback Will Levis. What did you learn about Will Levis during the process of putting this together, Joe, that is now out as of this morning on theathletic.com?
I mean, like, in general, you do a story on someone and you're going to talk to their family.
Yeah.
You know, typically, you know, you're not going to talk to the family. You know, this guy really sucks, you know?
Right.
He never did the dishes in 8th grade. No, I mean, you talk to their family, you talk to coaches, you talk to teammates, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, typically you're going to get positive comments. Again, I'm always like, hey, look, I'm here. Anybody out there like who played with Will Levis, coached Will Levis, encountered Will Levis, who has something negative to say, okay, let's put it on the record. Like, if you have an issue with him, let's hear it. I'm sure there are people in the world who dislike him, but I came away with a pretty strong feeling. It's not like it's a 180 or anything like that, but a pretty strong feeling about him as a leader, as a teammate, as an achiever too. How much does that matter? How much does that translate? I don't know. It doesn't guarantee anything. Most quarterbacks who are drafted high are busts, and I'm sure most of them had a long list of impressive achievements, right? But I do put a little stock in 3 years with a finance degree with a 3.97 GPA and a master's in finance from Kentucky, and just the very driven individual he is. I think you also see that a lot at this level. People are driven. They're achievers. You can't get to this level if you're not. But in fact, let me read you a Liam Cohen quote from this story.
Okay.
Because Liam Cohen was his OC at Kentucky. Then Liam Cohen went to the Rams last year. Levis suffered greatly from it. They fired the replacement. Liam Cohen is back at Kentucky. So apparently, I don't know if he didn't enjoy Sean McVay or, you know, what, but he's back at Kentucky with Mark Stoops. But just the intensity, why he took hold of the starting job when he got there, why his teammates voted him a captain. Here's a quote from Liam Cohen. Quote, "It's every meeting. It's every walkthrough. It's every jog through. It's every practice. It's all game-like for him. There's no taking it easy. It's full tilt. You never have to ask Will for more. You never will. You know how rare that is? Very rare," end quote. And so, again, this guarantees nothing. But if you're just looking at him from an intangible standpoint, I think the Titans have done pretty well for themselves. I'm not surprised he would endear himself to them in interviews. And I think that is contrary to just the general. I think there's like a general people who don't pay much attention, like this snot-nosed, TikToker. Oh, yeah, And yeah, that's a very much a caricature and a 2D interpretation of him. I can't find anybody who doesn't like the guy. And teammates, to me, especially, resonate with that. That's what matters and could translate here.
Well, I said this earlier, but a couple of things I'm not really worried about with him are leadership. As you've talked about, there have been several people that have come out since the Titans drafted him raving about his leadership skills and his ability to connect in the locker room, all those things. So you feel good about that. And secondly, and this was a big talking point when Mariota was the quarterback, of what it takes to be a quarterback and being a vocal leader and all those things, and having that sort of swag about you, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I don't worry about that with Levis either. Like the on the field stuff in terms of throwing the football and being on time and not turning the ball over, all those things that we've talked about with Levis, I have no idea how that's going to play out at the NFL level. We'll just have to wait and see on that stuff. But all that other stuff I just mentioned, I think are actually positives about him that should be embraced by Titans fans.
Yes. Now, something that did make the story from Cohen, which was interesting, there's always a lot of stuff that is on the cutting room floor. And he talked about the intensity. Again, it's a good thing, but some people use it against him. Hasselbeck thought some teams just didn't. Some teams thought he might have been too intense. And I think that's fair. Like entitlement and all that stuff, that's dumb. Too much intensity or whatever. Okay. I mean, I could see that. I guess I could see some people being taken aback by that. Cohen did talk about how they tried to manage that. So at times he was so competitive out there on the field. Again, it's like man, that guy should be a linebacker. Just let him go out and hit somebody, They had to work on calming him at times, and he said sometimes that even affected his feet. So if he's in a super intense moment, sometimes like his process in the pocket would get sped up. And they worked hard on like the calming process, which he said if you watch the LSU and Tennessee games from 21 when Cohen was his OC, those are examples of on film. They showed like, see, look, you were able to slow it down enough, and then look how you played. He was fantastic both those games. He did throw the huge pick against Tennessee, but they went up and down the field that night with the offense, and those games were part of like the whole, wow, is this guy going to be QB1 in 21? Last year Cohen wasn't with him, so but also he had 3 injuries to go with, as we've talked about ad nauseum, all the stuff around him that made it difficult. But there can be a downside to the intensity, but it's also something that he has worked on.
Joe, very quickly, your thought on the Titans schedule that was released last night.
I think if they're 3-3 after London, then I think they have a real chance to win the AFC South. And certainly a chance to get in the playoffs, just based on the schedule. The fascinating scenario is 2-4. 2-4, things don't look good. I'm assuming the offense is a big part of 2-4. And so it's like time for the rookie. You got the off week, get the rookie ready. Like TD said. I mean, I think that makes sense. Jared has said. I mean, it totally makes sense when you line it up. Like it's about when Tannehill took over for Mariota, right? Different situation, but I'm just saying. The thing is, though, if you're 2-4 and you're like showing some signs that you could be competent, like the rest of the schedule has to be the easiest in the whole league from then. Like it's on paper amazingly easy. So I am struck when you go through it, like how different this schedule is compared to those first place schedules I've had the last couple of years.
Yep, it's very intriguing that way. That the first 6 weeks really until you're heading into that London game, really interesting games for the Titans on that front, and they're going to have to come out and be ready out of the gate. So it softens up on paper. After that, we'll see how the Titans can handle that as we get closer to the season coming up here in a few months. Coming up next, it's time for Weekend Winners here on Robby and Rexrode, including one of us who went undefeated last week as well. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The NFL offseason is in full swing, but you'll never miss any of the big news. Thanks to Yahoo's Charles Robinson.
They know that there's a chance that they're going to have to deal this guy.
He's one of the best insiders there is.
All of a sudden, he becomes a functional player who we thought was just trash.
Join Charles Robinson every Thursday morning at 8 on Robby and Rexrode, presented by the NFL Alumni Association on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Now that you've taken on that big job, you shouldn't have to settle for the big box. You've earned a trip to Northern Tool, and we're ready for the details. We know all about the little things that make the biggest difference. Maybe that's why they call us a problem solver's paradise. From pressure washers to power tools, pallet jacks to push carts, Northern Tool and Equipment carries the brands you depend on, like North Star, DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Strongway. We're made for this. Come see us in store or shop online at northerntool.com.
Celebrating mothers everywhere. Electronic Express has what you need to make this the best Mother's Day yet. Spoil mom with brands like Samsung, Sony, LG, KitchenAid, Dyson, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. 4K TVs, computers, housewares, smart home, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 3 years free financing. Shop in-store or online. Get more from mom at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Along with being Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, Parman Tractor is your one-stop shop for professionals in the tree care and tree removal business. More bark brush chippers and Rayco stump grinders are industry-leading machines made for more to keep pace with you. And Parman's parts and service team will keep your machines running. Durability, efficiency, and trust. That's what you'll get with Moorbark and Rayco. And with Parman. Swing by Parman or visit ParmanTractor.com to learn more about Moorbark and Rayco. Parman Tractor's employee-owned team promises totally outrageous customer service.
312 Pizza Company is a proud sponsor of Nashville Sounds Baseball on 102.5 The Game.
This is Evan Bass for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. For most of us, sex is a big part of our relationship. So when something like erectile dysfunction starts affecting intimacy, it can be a real problem. But what you may not know is that ED doesn't just affect you, it can be tough on your partner as well. Plus, if you have ED, you know how it can make you feel. The truth is, we see a lot of guys who have depression, frustration, and even relationship issues because of ED. But we don't want ED to impact you or the one you love anymore. The Tennessee Men's Clinic tackles ED. Our urologists and medical providers take a comprehensive approach and have treated thousands of men with treatments that are successful in nearly 90% of cases. Even if your hormones are off, or if pills, wave therapy, or other treatments have left you hanging, the Tennessee Men's Clinic will work hard to help you get your sex life back, perhaps performing like you haven't in a long time. So call us. Your first appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. We have 2 offices in Midtown and Franklin.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra, results vary.
A show that lives and breathes sports.
Focus in, focus in, focus in.
From the SEC.
Credit to the Alabamas, to Georgias, and the Ohio States of the world.
To the Preds.
They've been in a lot of really tight games, but they're not winning enough of them.
To the Titans.
He's talking about what this franchise has built over the years.
Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace.
What is this? Check it out.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's time to pick some winners. We hope. Robby and Rexrode have weekend winners for you now
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week, time for weekend winners here on Robby and Rexrode. Lots going on this weekend. NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, Major League Baseball, MLS soccer. A lot of things on the table this weekend. Take your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Only 5 games in the competition last week, so we'll be back to our normal of 6 selections this week. A quick standings update in the competition. Michelle Knezovic, 3-2 last week with no lock in the competition. Joe Rexrode also 3-2 with his lock last week in the competition.
Okay.
But Robbie Stanley, 5-0 last week.
Wow.
Bringing the overall standings to Michelle Knezovic in first place, 24-17 overall, 5-2 on her locks, good for 29 points. I'm at 23-18, 2-5 on my locks, good for 25 points. Joe Rexrode improves to 18-23 overall, 2-5 on his locks, good for 20 points. So some movement in the competition there. Michelle Knezovic, let's get rolling with you up first in this one. The New York Knicks and the Miami Heat tonight in game number 6 down in South Florida. The Heat favored by 5.5 in this matchup. Michelle, who do you have between the Knicks and the Heat?
Okay, the Knicks barely survived the game the other night. I thought Miami was going to close it out, but I can feel very confident they're going to close it out tonight in Miami. I like the 5.5. I think they win by about 7, so give me Miami minus the 5.5 tonight.
So Miami minus the 5.5 tonight. I will go with New York. I think the Heat are going to win tonight, but I think it'll be close. I think you'll see the best effort for the Knicks. It'll take a big game from Jimmy Butler for the Heat to win. I think he will have that big game. And I think the Heat win by about 4 tonight, but I'll go with the Knicks plus the 5.5. Joe Rexrode, the Heat and the Knicks coming up tonight in Game 6.
I think the Knicks will give it a battle, but I think ultimately some free throws late, the Heat will just cover that spread.
So the Heat just covering, according to Joe Rexrode, tonight in game number 6. Another Game 6 tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Golden State Warriors on the road, taking on LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the LA Lakers. Lakers favored by 2.5 in this matchup. I'll start on this one. Give me the Warriors plus the 2.5, and I'm going to take the Warriors outright to win the game tonight as well. So I think you're going to see a Game 7 in this series. Give me the Warriors plus the 2.5. Joe Rexrode, the Warriors and the Lakers. Lakers favored by 2.5.
How have I done when I've picked the Warriors? You guys remember?
No, I don't
did
remember.
pick them to win the championship in August last year.
That is true.
Well, no, I know, but I just don't want to jinx them. I just, I've already warned some friends I'm hanging out with tonight. Like, you're going to be like, you might not want to be around me. You know what? I'll cover myself and take the Lakers. Andrew Wiggins does have a rib fracture.
Yep.
He's questionable. So it looked like Anthony Davis might be, possibly a question for this game. Instead, it's Andrew Wiggins who's a question. At least I'll have some solace if I'm right that the Lakers will cover. But I think hopefully Robbie's right. Give me the Lakers.
The Lakers favored by 2.5 in this matchup. Michelle Knezvik, who do you have between Golden State and Los Angeles?
Okay, so guys, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Corgi who has picked this series is 100% so far. In order, every single win. He had the Lakers going up 3-1, but he has the Warriors winning the series. So I'm going with the Corgi, and I am picking the Lakers plus the 2.5. The Warriors plus the 2.5, and also the Warriors to win outright.
Rexrode just has a look of total confusion.
I will send you the video.
It's a dog.
A dog has basically kicked balls into Lakers or Warriors bins and predicted this whole series so far.
Fantastic.
Were you familiar with the Corgi breed of dogs?
Apparently not.
Okay.
The little short legs. Their stomachs touch the ground.
Oh, poor them.
Game number 5 tonight between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. This series all evened up at 2. Joe Rexrode on the puck line tonight. Who do you have, the Oilers or the Golden Knights?
Yeah, after that Pietrangelo crap, I got to go Oilers. I think the Oilers are breathing smoke through their noses, and they're going to win.
There you go. Oilers tonight, according to Joe Rexrode. Michelle Knezvik, Edmonton and Vegas coming up in Game 5.
I'm on the same boat as Rexrode for this one. I think the Oilers go up in this game. And let's do a little called shot of a Matthias Ekholm goal.
Okay. All right. Number 14, putting it back in the back of the net. I'm going to go Vegas tonight on home ice. I think Vegas wins tonight. Edmonton, with their backs against the wall, they'll have to win Game 6 and 7. Game 5, very important in the series. It's tied 2-2. I will go with Vegas to win tonight at home. We move to the individual portion of the program. Michelle Knezvik, you're up first. Your first individual selection.
Okay, my first individual selection, it'll be the 76ers. Sorry, my phone is going crazy quick. The 76ers and the Celtics. And I'm going to do this one on the money line, and I'm going to take the Celtics. I think that the 76ers put themselves behind the 8 ball. Joel Embiid did not touch the ball in the last 4 minutes of the game. You can't have that. You're not going to win. So give me the Celtics to win Game 7, I think, for them.
Now, are we allowed to do the money line when the Celtics are favored by 7.5 points?
No.
Okay, fine. I'll do the over at 202.5.
202.5.
I didn't know that was a rule.
Well, they're favored by 7.5.
No, they're favored by 7.
It's got to be basically a pick 'em, right? I mean, essentially. Close to it.
Fine. Okay.
Over 202.5 for Celtics and 76ers. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
Sixers Celtics. So the Sixers go in there and stun everyone, and the Celtics go in there and stun everyone. And it's funny, like everyone now is convinced, oh yeah, Celtics will mop the floor with them. I'm taking the Sixers. I'll take those points, make it my lock.
Wow.
And I got the Sixers winning outright. There's a psychological thing for the road team in this series right now, and I love the fact that everyone thinks they're toast. So I think Joel is going to show why he's the MVP in this game.
Wow. So locking down on the 76ers
He did it last night.
plus the 7.5 and saying that they're going to win as well. So how about that? Looking forward to that coming up in Game 7. I will go with the Florida Panthers on the puck line tonight. They are 1.5 goal underdogs, but I'll take them straight up on the puck line tonight in Game 5. It's just too beautiful for me to pass up. Them waltzing into Toronto, and Toronto's favored in the game, and for them to just go in there and wipe the floor with them and close out that series on the road. So give me the Florida Panthers on the puck line tonight in game number 5. Joe Rexrode, your second individual selection.
I'm gonna argue with that one too.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I just feel like the Leafs, they owe their fans a night of enjoyment, and then they'll go get
okay.
Well, they owe them a lot. Yes, they owe them a lot. So I think they're gonna make this a little bit interesting and win this one tonight.
All right, so going with the Leafs tonight at home. Michelle Knezevic, your second individual selection.
Okay, I'm going to go a little baseball. I think this is the first time I've done it so far this year. Tampa Bay Rays at the Yankees.
Okay.
The Yankees are a 1.5-point favorite. I'm going to take the Rays plus the 1.5. The record is incredible right now.
Rays plus 1.5 against the New York Yankees coming up tonight. So looking forward to that one. Rays are very good. Garrett Cole on the mound tonight for the New York Yankees. I will go also in Major League Baseball, 2 in a row on the MLB front. The Braves and the Blue Jays, the under-over is set at 8.5 runs. Joe Rexrode, give me the under. I'm going under 8.5 today for the Braves and the Blue Jays. Joe, your thoughts?
I love it. We need more over-unders on this show.
We do. Michelle Knezevic, your final individual selection.
Okay, I know we already talked about this game. Can I do a different prop for the same game?
Sure.
Okay, so Warriors-Lakers, the over-under is 221. I'm going to go under on that one, and I'm going to make it my lock.
So going under 221 for Warriors-Lakers and making it your lock on that front. Joe Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Well, I'm going baseball, too.
There we go.
And, the Detroit Tigers are a much better team than the crappy Chicago White Sox. I got to say, I love it. So you know what? Mariners-Tigers, give me the Tigers on the money line.
There will be dozens of people watching that game. Looking forward to it coming up. Dozens watching that game. My final individual selection, I'm going to go back to 76ers and Boston. I, too, am taking the 76ers plus the 7.5, and I will lock down on that as well. I feel good about it. I feel good about that being a close game, a good game. I don't know that I feel good about Philadelphia winning the game, but I will take the plus the 7.5 on that front. So, interesting Game 7 on that one. I thought when Philadelphia won in Game 5 on the road that they were going to go back home and close it out, and big game from Jason Tatum last night. Made some big shots in the fourth quarter, and that's been a great series. Looking forward to Game 7 in that one.
Yep, and it'd be great if we have, although problematic, because Sunday is Mother's Day, everybody. Hope you remembered. Although problematic, it would be great to have a couple Game 7s on that day.
It would.
And sneak some glances on the phone.
It would very much be great. 615-737-1025. Going up next, it's time for Call Your Shot Friday. We'll take your called shots on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Your bold predictions in the world of sports. We will do that. Wrap up the show coming up next as well. Let me tell you about the Nashville Predators. Season tickets for the Preds 2023-24 season are on sale now. Preds will be celebrating their 25th anniversary throughout next season. Full, half, and quarter season plans are available, and you can join the Loyal Legion today and receive the best seat locations at the best pricing, up to 50% off discounts on concessions throughout the season as well, and up to 6 bonus tickets to select games in the 2023-24 season, plus priority access to the 2023 NHL Draft and awards, both of which are hosted right here in Nashville coming up later this summer, here in just about a month. You can learn more at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Once again, that's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
The crowd is standing on its feet. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Join 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament, benefiting Souls for Souls, June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs.
Be the ball.
Support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes. Sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at theGameNashville.com/golf.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds. Online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321321. That's HUNK to 321321.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine. Fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take me 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The sports weekend has arrived. You know what that means.
Shoot your shot.
It's time for Call Your Shot Friday with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for Call Your Shot Friday here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your bold predictions, your called shots on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, we've actually had a couple-week hiatus from Call Your Shot Friday due to the NFL draft and other things. So starting anew today here on Call Your Shot Friday, Michelle Knezvik, would you like to kick us off with your called shots for this week?
Yes, I would love to. And since Chase made sure to remind me that I picked a money line on a 7.5 point spread. But in my defense, it is a game 7, so anything can happen, and I get it, okay? I get it. It's just been a long morning, so I needed to say that first. But speaking of that game, the 76ers and the Boston Celtics, the game will be in Boston. James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey will all combine for less than 50 points.
Jeez. They're in trouble, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shot.
Big trouble.
If the 76ers lose, Doc Rivers will be fired by next week.
I could see that.
Matthias Ekholm with a goal. I feel like that's a shot, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a shot. Yeah.
Matthias Ekholm with a goal in the game that the next game. Obviously, if it goes to 7, that's different. And then finally, Will Levis will throw a touchdown pass by week 5 this season.
Oh, a touchdown pass by week 5 for Will Levis.
That's a shot.
I think
that's a shot. We got to remember it.
Yeah, that'll be that'll be an old one. And then finally, the Warriors will go on to win this series, and in tonight's game specifically, Steph will have over 45 points.
Wow, so a big one for Steph coming up tonight.
And Joe will cry.
Facing elimination. Joe will cry tears of joy tonight at the end of the game. Looking forward to that. Joe Rexrode, your called shots for this week.
From your lips to God's ears. Okay, well, first of all, now, I want to go back real quick, though. We don't have to do a full review because a lot of them are games. I don't remember what happened. But I would just like to point out the last time we did call your shot, I said Titans will trade up to 6, take Will Levis. This place will melt the hell down. Didn't have the trade up right, but I had that right. I also had the Texans are going to take Stroud and the Colts are going to take Richardson. Boom. Robby had Hendon Hooker will be drafted before Will Levis. No.
That did not happen.
Robby also had Houston will take Tyree Wilson. Michelle had
I had Will Levis here.
You said you had Titans will stay at 11 and draft him. And then the others were just game stuff. So I just wanted to make sure we reviewed those.
A month ago, we did all these things. Yes.
Hey, but some of them are like long-term, shots.
That is true.
So I got 3 and they're all bigger pictures. 1, Jordan Poole will be on another basketball team next season. He's about to start 4-year, I think $128 million deal. He has, I think we've kind of say not at all excusing punching a guy in the face. Okay. But boy, he is a problem. With all due, I'm sorry if you're offended by punching you in the face. I'm sorry if that offends you, that my fist hit your face. No, but like he's a problem. He's a problem for them and often a big help for the other team. The Denver Nuggets will win the NBA championship. Okay. I am a Denver Nuggets believer. I believe they will beat either the Lakers or Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And finally, this is, I believe, still a shot, even though we're talking a lot about it, but I got to go there. The Nashville Predators are going to fire John Hines.
Okay.
Oh,
I think it still qualifies. There's still a lot that has to go down. Technically, he's the coach, and there's a contract. You're left on his contract, so I believe that qualifies. All right, I will start tonight. Edmonton will lose tonight in Game 5, and they will win Game 6 and 7. Connor McDavid, throughout the process of Game 6 and 7, will score 6 goals. 6 goals for McDavid in Games 6 and 7. Not per game, just total in Games 6 and 7.
And he'll still be behind Draisaitl.
And he will still probably be behind Draisaitl at that point. So that's called shot number 1. Called shot number 2, looking ahead to tonight's game as well. Klay Thompson will score 33 points. 33 points from Klay Thompson tonight heading into Game 6. A very specific number, but it's going to be one of those hot shooting games from Klay Thompson tonight on the road in Game 6. And finally,
I love these shots. Please all come true.
My final called shot is that Hendon Hooker will be starting for the Detroit Lions by Week 7. Week 7, Hendon Hooker will be starting. Jared Goff will be bad.
You are nothing if not consistent in your hatred for Jared Goff.
I am. I'm just telling you.
My goodness. But I can say it because they'll probably be like 0-6.
Or they'll beat the Chiefs Week 1 and think they won the Super Bowl.
Well, it could be. Could be. I mean, they're going to have several opportunities to play against some good teams this year. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Get ready for that big stage, Lions.
Caleb on the text line says, Levis is a day 1 starter, his called shot. Tannehill starts in Atlanta. Willis is gone, and the Titans signed Nick Foles as the backup. This is from Caleb on the text line. So Tannehill out to Atlanta, Levis the day 1 starter, and Nick Foles as the Titans backup. Joe, your thoughts?
I mean, that's a heck of a domino effect of shots there. That is one heck of a domino effect. And I especially like the Nick Foles ad. Like that's one, like all the other things, like, okay, we've talked about that stuff, but Nick Foles, okay. Caleb, we will remember that if you're right on actually any of them. Well, Willis gone. That'll be interesting. TD said earlier someone will pick him up. I mean, you're picking him up, you're signing him to your active roster.
That's the thing.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I think Malik Willis is going to be on the Titans practice squad next year.
It's really interesting. I wondered about the 3 quarterback rule that has been discussed out there of being able to carry 3 quarterbacks and not have it really count against your roster that way. I would like to see that in the NFL, but as of right now, that is not the case. So, like, if the Titans do what we all think they're going to do, and that is Tannehill is the starter, Levis is the backup, if they do cut Malik Willis, I'm very interested to see if somebody else picks him up. I kind of lean no. Like, I lean that he would probably make it through and that he'd be able to be on the practice squad for the Titans. That's just my guess as we sit here today on May 12th.
Yeah, it could be wrong. It'd be very interesting. I think we're going to find out ultimately.
Yeah, I think we are too. And one of the intriguing parts that not a whole lot of people are going to talk about heading into camp with him is like I am interested to see like how much he's improved. Like I'm sure there's been some improvement with Malik Willis. Now, Is it going to be good enough? I have no idea. I mean, I would probably lean no, but I am interested to see how much he's improved. Like to me, it's not really much about the Titans anymore. Like the writing's on the wall. They've drafted Will Levis, so I get all those things. But if he goes out in the preseason and he's gotten significantly better than where he was a year ago, maybe that changes the equation of what the cut would look like for him. Maybe somebody else would pick him up.
Honestly, even OTAs, I'm very interested just to watch, to be able to compare Willis and Levis as they take reps in OTAs.
Yeah.
Willis has a lot of talent. I mean, it's the footwork and the obviously, adjusting to the NFL and all that stuff. Of course, he shouldn't have played last year, but I mean, that stuff over time should register. But also, it's the footwork to the consistent accuracy. If he figures that out, I mean, he's got a massive arm. So I know everybody's he's awful. No, he's terrible. We know someone in particular who. Yeah, just loves to go there. I'm very interested to see how he responds to all this.
Ryan from Chicago on the text line says, called shot, the Bears beat the Packers by 24 in week 1 of 2023, and Jordan Love throws 3 picks. I could not have asked Joe Rexrode for a better beginning to the schedule. On the road in Chicago, I can taste the tears now of them thinking that they finally made it and Rodgers is out. And Love goes in there week 1 and just snatches their soul away from him. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Robbie, I'm going to hear about this comment now for however many months until week 1 is.
When I saw the schedule come out yesterday and they were on the road in Chicago week 1, I was like, yes, thank you. It sets up so perfectly.
I noticed that Ryan from Chicago is not testing us about his poopy White Sox.
Well, maybe you've given up hope on that.
He knows they're bad.
Just for clarity, Joe's referring to the baseball team.
Yeah, not actual poopy socks. He doesn't live here stepping on Gus and Quinn's little nuggets of love.
It's actually Joe's socks.
Yeah, it is. That's going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back, we think, 6 a.m. on Monday morning. Chase and Michelle up next. This is 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
They played tough. They came back and they still lost.
And your source for Nashville sports.
Yes, you want to have a fire sale, but who's going to buy those players?
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
A top 10 showdown. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. Vanderbilt baseball is in Gainesville, where the 5th-ranked Commodores will take on number 7 Florida in another highly anticipated matchup in what's been a good rivalry series over the years. The Vandy boys are tied for the overall lead in the SEC at 17-7 entering the weekend, while the Gators are just 2 games back at 15-9 and feature national home run leader and lefty starter Jack Caglione. Series opener today at 4:30, pregame 4:15 on the Vanderbilt Sports Network, and then Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. Add another honor for Vanderbilt golf All-American Gordon Sargent. He's the SEC Player of the Year for 2023, the 6th in program history. An unbelievable run for Sargent, who's also a finalist for the Ben Hogan Award and top ranked for the Palmer Cup. Vandy teammates William Mall and Matthew Rito were first-team All-SEC selections as well. Cole Sherwood's second team and Wells Williams was named All-Freshman. They will compete in the NCAA Regional in Auburn, Alabama next week. If you missed it, the Vanderbilt women's golf team will be on a plane to Arizona after placing 3rd in the NCAA Regionals in Indiana. The 900 par final round featured a 65 by Tilly Claggett, the best of the day for any player in the field and the low score for the Commodores this season. The championships are at Grayhawk and Scottsdale starting next Friday. 24 Vanderbilt track and field athletes are in Baton Rouge for the SEC Outdoor Championships this week. You can find all the results at VUCommodores.com. 3 from the squad are among the top 25 in the nation in their events, including Veronica Fraley in the discus and in the shot put.